He didn't notice Xiao Wu's abnormal shock and sadness, instead assuming she was merely worried about the risks. Xiao Wu, I know there are risks, but this is the only shortcut. To avenge my mother and for my father, I will do anything. I will create hidden weapons with even greater lethality to make up for my lack of strength. Looking at the near fanatical determination in Tang San's eyes, the rest of Xiao Wu's words were stuck in her throat. A massive sense of disappointment and alienation overwhelmed her. She suddenly felt that the Tang San before her had become so strange. The Tang San who was once gentle and considerate toward her seemed to be being dragged step by step into a dark abyss by hatred, becoming just like his cold and murderous father, capable of disregarding the existence of other living beings for the sake of power. From the perspective of a human spirit master, hunting spirit beasts seemed perfectly natural. Xiao Wu desperately wanted to tell Tang San, your mother was also a spirit beast. But, in the end, it was too difficult to say. Because Tang San's mother had just been devoured by Qin Feng, and the spirit bone she left behind had also been fused by Qin Feng. This was the very source of Tang San's hatred. Xiao Wu silently lowered her head, her long eyelashes concealing the surging pain and confusion in her eyes, as she whispered a single sentence. I'm feeling a bit unwell, I'll head back first. Then, without waiting for Tang San's response, she turned and walked away quickly, tears already shimmering in her eyes. Tang San watched Xiao Wu's hurried departure and frowned, assuming she was simply too worried about him. His thoughts quickly returned to planning how to hunt spirit beasts and obtain spirit bones. I need to get stronger as fast as possible. Qin Feng, you just wait. I, Tang San, swear that I will take your life to appease my mother's soul in heaven. Tilde 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 tilde. Returning to her room, Xiao Wu gently closed the door behind her and leaned against it, her tears finally falling uncontrollably. She looked around the room. The little rabbit plushie Tang San had bought for her was still on the windowsill, and the spirit beast encyclopedia they had completed together sat on the desk. Everything looked so warm. However, she knew that this place no longer belonged to her. Because Tang San's father could arrive at any moment. Xiao Wu thought of Tang Hao's cold eyes and the countless spirit beast bloodstains on that massive clear sky hammer. If Tang Hao knew she was a 100,000-year spirit beast in human form, what would happen? Perhaps in Tang Hao's eyes, she was no different from any other spirit beast, just an existence that could be hunted for a spirit ring and spirit bone. What broke her heart even more was that Tang San was gradually becoming a man like Tang Hao. It was time to leave. Xiao Wu walked to the desk, took out a pale pink sheet of stationery from the drawer, and began to write. Jay, I'm sorry. Please forgive me for leaving without saying goodbye. Say sorry to everyone for me. I'm glad I met you all. If fate permits, we'll meet again. These few words exhausted all of Xiao Wu's courage. She wanted to say more, but in the end, only a farewell remained. After a simple pack-up, Xiao Wu took one last look toward Tang San's room, a flash of determination in her eyes. She then turned and vanished silently into the night. The next morning. On the training grounds of Shrek Academy, Yu Xiaogang looked at the students standing in a row, his brow furrowed slightly. Why hasn't Xiao Wu arrived yet? Everyone found it strange. Ma Hongjun said. Xiao Wu hasn't been late before. Could she be feeling unwell? Oscar took up the conversation. Last night, Xiao Wu's complexion didn't look very good. Could she really be sick? Tang San also felt it was strange, with a hint of guilt in his heart. He had been so immersed in his own pain last night that he hadn't noticed anything unusual about Xiao Wu. Teacher, I'll go check. Go ahead. If she's unwell, let her rest well. Understood. Tang San arrived outside Xiao Wu's room and knocked gently on the door. Xiao Wu, are you there? No response. An inexplicable sense of anxiety crept into his heart. Tang San pushed open the door. The room was neat and tidy, but there was no sign of Xiao Wu. Where is she? Tang San's gaze quickly swept over the room, finally landing on the desk where he saw the pink stationery. The familiar handwriting came into view, it was left by Xiao Wu. Every word pierced Tang San's heart like a needle. No. Why? Tang San muttered to himself and rushed out of the room. On the training grounds. When Yu Xiaogang and the others saw Tang San running back in a panic, they all felt a sense of foreboding. Little San, what's wrong? Is Xiao Wu very sick? Dai Mubai asked urgently. Xiao Wu is gone. Tang San's voice trembled slightly as he spread the stationery out for everyone to see. The others quickly gathered around, scanning the contents, all finding it hard to believe. What's going on? Why? Ning Rongrong suddenly said. Yesterday, when Xiao Wu was looking at the light screen, I noticed her eyes weren't right. It was a complex mix of anger and fear. Fear and anger. Tang San was stunned. Fear of whom? Qin Feng. Ning Rongrong shook her head. I don't know. I originally thought she was just worried for you, but thinking back now, maybe there was another reason. The usually taciturn Zhu Zuqing suddenly spoke up. Have you noticed that Xiao Wu seems quite sensitive about hunting spirit beasts? Oscar nodded. Exactly. Every time hunting spirit beasts is mentioned, she doesn't seem as excited as we are, nor is she very happy. Tang San's heart sank heavily. He recalled his conversation with Xiao Wu yesterday and the shimmering tears in her eyes. Could it be because I said I wanted to hunt spirit beasts and obtain spirit bones? Xiao Wu shouldn't have gone far yet, I'll go find her. Yu Xiaogang stopped him. Little San, where would you even look? Since Xiao Wu decided to leave, she naturally doesn't want you to find her. You should stay at the academy and wait for your father to arrive. But Tang San wanted to argue, but was interrupted by Dai Bai. Little San, Grandmaster is right. Panicking now won't help. Since Xiao Wu chose to leave, she must have her reasons. Maybe she'll come back on her own after a while. Tang San's heart ached. He had a faint feeling that this departure might be forever. For the entire day, Tang San was restless. Every time he thought of Xiao Wu, his heart felt like it was being violently wrenched. Night fell. Tang San sat alone in his room, trying to calm his heart through cultivation. But no matter how hard he tried, Xiao Wu's figure constantly surfaced in his mind. Xiao Wu, why did you have to leave? Tang San murmured to himself, a look of pain flashing in his eyes. Just then, a slight sound of landing came from outside the window. Who? Tang San stood up alertly, his spirit power instantly condensing. Little San, it's me. Chapter 35. The sky screen reappears, Xiao Wu cannot escape her fate. That familiar, low voice gave Tang San a sudden jolt of surprise. He strode to the door and opened it. Under the moonlight, a tall and burly figure stood there, his face bearing the weathered look of travel. Dad. Tang Hao nodded slightly, his gaze sweeping over his son. Little San, you've grown taller again. Dad, come in quickly. Tang San helped his father into the room and asked with concern. Dad, is your health all right? It's nothing, don't worry. The more Tang Hao spoke like this, the more worried Tang San became. He knew his father was a strong-willed man who wouldn't easily show his vulnerable side, especially in front of his son. Little San, you should have seen it too. Tang San knew what his father was referring to, and his face instantly turned pale. Dad, that blue-silver grass, was really my mother. That's right. Tang Hao's voice was calm, but within those bottomless eyes burned the flames of fury. Regarding your mother's matters, I originally wanted to tell you after you grew up. Now, it's time for you to know. Subsequently, Tang Hao told Tang San everything about how he met, knew, and loved the Blue-Silver Emperor Yin, how they were discovered and hunted by Spirit Hall, and how Yin sacrificed herself to save him. He also told Tang San about Spirit Hall taking their anger out on the Clear Sky sect, besieging them, which led to the sect's seclusion and his own expulsion from the sect. Tang San finally understood everything and was shocked beyond measure. At this moment, another powerful enemy was added to his heart, Spirit Hall. Dad, I didn't expect you to have gone through so much. I will cultivate heart and become strong as soon as possible to avenge the sect and Mom with you. Tang Hao patted Tang San's shoulder, a hint of gratification flashing in his eyes. Little San, you're only 12 years old, yet your spirit power has already exceeded level 30, making you even more outstanding than I was back then. Moreover, you possess twin spirits, your future achievements will surely surpass mine. You don't need to worry about revenge, just focus on your cultivation. Dad, I'll work hard. You should also take care of your health and wait until your injuries are healed before thinking about revenge. Tang Hao nodded, his eyes flickering. Returning to Shrek Academy, he did not sense Xiao Wu's presence. By the way, where is that girl who was with you before? Is she not at the academy? Dad, you mean Xiao Wu, right? Xiao Wu, she left. What? Tang Hao was startled. When did she leave? Last night. She left quietly without saying goodbye to anyone, we only found out this morning. Tang Hao frowned slightly, falling into deep thought. He guessed that Xiao Wu might have chosen to leave because she was worried about his arrival. Dad, why do you ask about Xiao Wu? I don't know why she had to leave either. Tang San vaguely felt that his father seemed to know the reason for Xiao Wu's departure. Tang Hao sighed. She probably chose to leave because she was afraid of me and didn't dare to see me. Quote question mark exclamation mark quote. Tang San looked bewildered, finding it hard to believe. Xiao Wu and his father had never met, why would she feel fear? Dad, what is going on? Tang Hao looked at Tang San and said solemnly. Little San, what I say next will shock you, but it's all the truth. You must be mentally prepared. Go ahead. Tang Hao paused, then continued. Actually, Xiao Wu is not a real human. Like your mother, she is a 100,000-year spirit beast in human form, her true form being a soft-bones rabbit. What? Tang San felt as if he had been struck by lightning, freezing in place with his mind going blank. 100,000-year spirit beast in human form. Xiao Wu was actually a 100,000-year spirit beast. Xiao Wu, how could she? Tang San's voice trembled, his eyes filled with disbelief. Dad, Xiao Wu clearly. It's absolutely true. Tang Hao's voice was calm and heavy, brooking no doubt. When a 100,000-year spirit beast takes human form, their aura is indistinguishable from a human's, but a spirit master of my level, especially one who has had close contact with a 100,000-year spirit beast, can sense that special fluctuation. Tang Hao stood up, walked to the window, and continued with his back to Tang San. I noticed it the first time I saw her. I didn't expose her then because I wanted to see what her purpose was in approaching you. Purpose? Tang San shook his head. Xiao Wu, she treats me very well, she doesn't have any purpose. Perhaps. Tang Hao turned around, his deep gaze looking directly at Tang San. Little San, you must understand what a 100,000-year spirit beast in human form means to human spirit masters. Tang San understood, of course. After a 100,000-year spirit beast takes human form, they remain a target for spirit masters to hunt until they reach the mature stage. Once killed, a 100,000-year spirit ring and a 100,000-year spirit bone would appear. Those were the treasures that all spirit masters dreamed of. Thinking of this, Tang San's heart sank. He suddenly remembered his conversation with Xiao Wu yesterday and the worry and sadness in her eyes. Originally, he thought it was sympathy, but it was actually personal fear and pain. So, she chose to leave really because you were coming. Tang Hao nodded. That bastard Qin Feng announced to the whole world that I slaughtered spirit beasts to obtain spirit bones. She probably thought I would make a move on her. After all, a 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone are irresistible temptations for any spirit master. No, you wouldn't. Tang San's breathing became rapid. Dad, you wouldn't hurt Xiao Wu, right? Tang Hao was silent for a moment, a complex look flashing in his eyes. Little San, you must understand that the love between me and your mother is extremely rare, even in the entire Spirit Masters world. The vast majority of Spirit Masters, especially high-ranking ones, see a 100,000-year spirit beast in human form only as top-tier prey. Xiao Wu's concern was not without reason. Then where will she go after leaving? To the spirit beast forest. Perhaps. That's not what you should be worried about, dismiss the thought of looking for her. But. Tang San wanted to say more, but Tang Hao interrupted him. Alright, that's enough about Xiao Wu. You are still young, you cannot let this matter affect your cultivation. I came to find you today for something more important. Tang San took a deep breath, forcing himself to calm down. Dad, go ahead. Just as Tang Hao was about to speak, a golden light suddenly burst forth in the sky, illuminating the night like day. The father and son looked at each other and immediately pushed the door open and went out. A light screen unfolded across the horizon. That figure Tang San hated to the bone appeared in the images again. Qin Feng hovered in the air, standing proudly with a faint smile on his lips. Tang San's pupils contracted suddenly. There was another figure in the light screen. Long black hair, slender legs, and those eyes that were originally lively were now filled with terror. That girl was none other than Xiao Wu. Chapter 36. Xiao Wu's spirit beast identity exposed, Tang San breaks down. Tang San was completely frozen. The two figures in the light screen. One had flowing silver hair, it was Qin Feng, the man who made him gnash his teeth in hatred yet also filled his heart with fear. The other, a figure in pink, was his beloved Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu. Tang San's voice was stuck in his throat, and his hands unconsciously clenched into fists. Images flashed through his mind of Qin Feng killing 3 spirit emperors single-handedly, as well as the scene of Qin Feng's great battle with his father, Tang Hao. How powerful his father was, yet he had been toyed with by Qin Feng as if he were in the palm of his hand. And now, Xiao Wu was facing him alone. Tang San's heart pounded frantically. Xiao Wu was only at the level of a three-ring spirit elder. In front of Qin Feng, she probably wouldn't be able to withstand a single move. Moreover, with Qin Feng's cold-blooded nature, would he strike at Xiao Wu? No. Tang San shouted out of control, his eyes bloodshot. You damn bastard. Don't hurt Xiao Wu. At that moment, the other teachers and students of Shrek Academy were also alerted by the anomaly in the sky and rushed out of their rooms one after another. Qin Feng has appeared again. Flender's voice rang out. Yu Xiaogang followed closely behind. When he saw the images in the light screen clearly, his expression suddenly changed. Xiao Wu. That's Xiao Wu. How could she be with Qin Feng? Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zuqing, and the others also rushed out in succession. When they saw the scene of Xiao Wu and Qin Feng confronting each other, they all gasped. Oh heavens, Xiao Wu. Ning Rongrong covered her mouth, her eyes full of worry. What does that bastard Qin Feng want to do? Ma Hongjun roared in anger. Dai Mubai's brow was furrowed tight. Xiao Wu only left a day ago, how could she have run into Qin Feng? Yu Xiaogang suddenly turned his head to look at Tang San, and only then did he notice a middle-aged man with a burly build and an aura as imposing as a mountain standing beside him. Though the man's clothes were tattered and his face was weathered, his eyes were as inscrutable as a deep pool, seemingly containing endless power. Clear sky Duluo. Flender cried out in surprise, recognizing Tang Hao. Tang Hao nodded slightly to them without saying much, then turned his gaze back to the sky. Everyone was astonished, but they knew now was not the time for talk. They also turned their attention back to the light screen. Across the entire continent, countless pairs of eyes were drawn to this suddenly appearing light screen. In front of the Supreme Pontiff Palace in Spirit City, Bibi Dong looked up at the sky, her brow slightly furrowed. It's the Qin Feng again. His opponent this time is a young girl. Could there be something special about that girl? Tilde. The Seven Treasure Glazed Tile School. Ning Fengji and Sword Duluo Chen Xin stood before the Great Hall, likewise looking up at the sky. Fengji, look at that girl. A strange look flashed in Chen Xin's eyes. Ning Fengji nodded. For Qin Feng to treat her like this, she likely has an extraordinary background. Meanwhile, deep within the Stardow Great Forest. By the lake, two massive figures were looking up at the sky. The Sky Azure Bull Python's giant eyes reflected the images in the light screen. When it saw Xiao Wu confronting Qin Feng, it was suddenly startled. Its sister Xiao Wu. Beside it, the Titan giant ape's eyes flashed with a ruthless light. That bastard seems to intend harm toward sister Xiao Wu. I'm going to save her. Ming, don't be impulsive. The Sky Azure Bull Python stopped the Titan giant ape. Look closely, they aren't in the Stardow Great Forest, but in the human world. How will you go? Even if you set out now, it will be too late. But the Titan giant ape stomped its feet anxiously, making the ground tremble. The Sky Azure Bull Python gazed at the light screen and sighed softly. I hope, for the sake of both being spirit beasts, he won't hurt sister Xiao Wu. The two spirit beasts prayed silently, though their hearts were filled with unease. Tilde. After Xiao Wu left Shrek Academy, her heart was filled with mixed emotions. Her feet didn't stop as she sped all the way toward the Stardow Great Forest. She hoped to return to Daming and Ming's side as quickly as possible. She didn't dare take the main roads and could only weave through forests and wilds. As 100,000-year soft bones rabbit human form transformation, Xiao Wu's speed far exceeded spirit masters of the same level. In a day and a night, she was already hundreds of miles away from Soto City. By now, she had arrived at a valley area. As long as she crossed this valley and went another 300 miles, she could enter the outskirts of the Stardow Great Forest. However, just as she entered the valley, a powerful aura suddenly descended from the sky, pressing down on her like a great mountain. Her expression changed, and she immediately stopped, her spirit power circulating instantly as she looked warily at the sky. A figure was suspended in midair, long silver hair fluttering in the wind, with fine bolts of lightning surrounding his body. Those deep eyes were looking down at her, a hint of surprise and realization flashing within them. When she saw that person's face clearly, Xiao Wu's heart almost stopped beating. Qin Feng. It was actually that Qin Feng who had appeared in the light screen, killing 3 spirit emperors single-handedly and fighting the clear sky Duluo. Little rabbit, it really is you. Qin Feng spoke, his voice as cold as ice. He happened to be heading to the Stardow Great Forest as well and hadn't expected to run into Xiao Wu here. Xiao Wu's heart sank to the bottom. She didn't understand, she and Qin Feng had never met, so why could he recognize her at a glance? Moreover, he seemed to know she was a spirit beast human form transformation. What? Has your identity been exposed? Can you no longer stay in the human world? Qin Feng slowly descended, hovering 3 feet above the ground, his gaze like a knife, as if he wanted to see right through Xiao Wu. Xiao Wu's face turned deathly pale, and her body began to tremble uncontrollably. You, how do you know me? Why are you stopping me? Faced with Xiao Wu's questioning, Qin Feng did not answer, but instead asked. Do you think you'll be safe if you escape back to the Stardow Great Forest? Your mother was killed by human powerhouses, and to avenge her, you went undercover in the human world. But you are too naive, your enemies are the peerless powerhouses of today, and you cannot do it by yourself, nor can those trash spirit masters help you. Once those powerhouses identify your spirit beast identity, you will surely die. These words were like a heavy hammer, smashing ruthlessly against Xiao Wu's heart. How could he know about my mother? How could he know about my hatred? A look of pain flashed in Xiao Wu's eyes as the scene of her mother being killed appeared vividly before her. Those human powerhouses, for the sake of her mother's spirit ring and spirit bone, had struck without hesitation, even though her mother had already transformed into a human, even though she had never harmed anyone. Within the light screen, even the wind in the valley seemed to have frozen. Under Qin Feng's gaze that seemed able to see through everything in his cold words, Xiao Wu felt as if all her disguises had been stripped away, revealing her most vulnerable side. Across the entire continent, countless people watching the light screen fell into a massive uproar and commotion because of this sudden truth. That girl is actually also a 100,000-year spirit beast human form transformation. She really isn't simple, no wonder she appeared in the sky together with Qin Feng. In front of the Supreme Pontiff Palace. Bibi Dong looked at Xiao Wu's figure in the light screen, a faint, smug smile appearing on her face. Back then, it was she who had killed Xiao Wu's mother, taking the 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone for her own use. Chapter 37. Ungrateful. If you won't give it, I'll take the spirit bone myself. So it's that fish that slipped through the net. A tiny little rabbit actually dreams of seeking revenge against me. How utterly laughable. Bibi Dong smiled disdainfully, a hint of greed flashing in her eyes. Since both are spirit beasts in their human form larval stage, catching that rabbit seems much simpler than catching Qin Feng. But what is Qin Feng trying to do by stopping that rabbit? Qin Feng, he seems to know that the rabbit's mother died by my hand. With these doubts, Bibi Dong stared intently at the sky screen. On the other side, at Shrek Academy. The truth was stripped bare by Qin Feng, like a resounding slap in the face, leaving everyone dizzy and disoriented. Yu Xiaogong's eyes, which were always calm and wise, were now filled with an unbelievable shock. Xiao Wu, she is actually a 100,000-year spirit beast in human form. No wonder she left without saying goodbye. Flender was equally shocked. Shrek Academy had actually admitted a student who was a spirit beast in human form, and he had never noticed anything unusual. Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Oscar, Ning Rongrong, Zhu Zuqing, and the others were completely stunned. Xiao Wu is a spirit beast. The group recalled their various interactions with Xiao Wu. That lively and agile girl, who would laugh and play with them, was actually a spirit beast who had lived for 100,000 years. Only now did they understand why Xiao Wu had suddenly left without a word. Dai Mubai murmured. Little San, did he know all along? The group's gaze instantly focused on Tang San. Tang San's entire body was trembling. In those eyes that were originally bloodshot, there was not a hint of surprise, only the pain of a secret being exposed and a deep sense of despair. Looking at Tang San's appearance, Yu Xiaogong understood instantly. He remembered the words Flender had said last night, that Tang Hao had once come to Shrek Academy. With his strength as a titled Duluo, he must have seen through Xiao Wu's identity as a spirit beast long ago. Clearly, Tang Hao had already told Tang San about this. Tang Hao lightly patted Tang San's shoulder and said in a heavy voice. Little San, calm down. They are both spirit beasts in human form. That bastard Qin Feng doesn't need to hunt spirit beasts to obtain spirit rings, so he might not harm Xiao Wu. Hearing this, Tang San's restless heart calmed down slightly. He stared at the sky screen, hoping Xiao Wu could survive this ordeal. Tilde. You, what exactly do you mean? In the light screen, Xiao Wu spoke again. Her voice was trembling, and the fear in her eyes was hard to hide. Qin Feng hovered in the air, his silver hair fluttering in the wind and lightning flowing around him, looking like a god descended to earth. I can help you get revenge. Xiao Wu was stunned. You want to help me? Since we are both spirit beasts, I can step in. However, I have a condition. A glimmer of hope flashed in Xiao Wu's eyes, but she immediately became wary. What condition? Qin Feng's gaze fell upon Xiao Wu. That look seemed to penetrate flesh and blood, staring directly into her soul. I have no use for your spirit ring's energy, but the spirit bone is of some use. Give me your spirit bone, and I will avenge your mother. Those people will come looking for me anyway. When I kill them, it can be considered your contribution to avenging your mother. Silence. A deathly silence. The color instantly drained from Xiao Wu's face, and she felt as if she had fallen into an ice cellar. She knew all too well what surrendering a spirit bone meant. A spirit bone is linked to a spirit beast's life. Forcibly extracting a spirit bone means certain death for the spirit beast. Even if she was 100,000-year spirit beast in human form, losing her spirit bone would leave her with only one path: death. This was essentially asking for her life. As expected, you have no good intentions. Xiao Wu took a step back, her eyes full of fear and anger. You are no different from human spirit masters. You're all executioners who want to hunt spirit beasts. Faced with Xiao Wu's accusation, Qin Feng remained unmoved, his voice still calm. Stop acting so high and mighty. You've fallen for a human spirit master, knowing full well his father's hands are stained with the blood of spirit beasts, yet you still want to sacrifice your spirit ring and spirit bone to him. It's utterly brainless. Is such a piece of trash worth such a sacrifice? You are 100,000-year spirit beast after all. Where is your backbone? Having her inner thoughts exposed in public, Xiao Wu's expression changed drastically. She looked up at the sky, as if meeting Tang San's eyes outside the light screen. At this moment, Tang San's heart was in a state of upheaval. He knew the person Qin Feng was referring to was him. Being insulted as trash by Qin Feng made his anger soar. Watching Xiao Wu being threatened, he was anxious beyond measure. No, Xiao Wu. That damned bastard, how dare he covet Xiao Wu's spirit bone? Tang San hated his own incompetence, his inability to protect his beloved. For a brief moment, he had even imagined the scene of Xiao Wu sacrificing her spirit ring and spirit bone to him. That was 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone. It would surely bring him a massive boost. But in the end, it was just a fleeting dream. Tang Hao patted Tang San's shoulder again. He felt his son's heart-wrenching pain. But right now, there was nothing he could do. He didn't know where the scene in the light screen was taking place. Even if he could get there, he likely wouldn't be able to stop Qin Feng. It looked like Xiao Wu would find it hard to escape death. What made Tang Hao angry and unwilling was that the 100,000-year spirit beast would die at Qin Feng's hands, the spirit ring would be wasted, and the spirit bone would fall into Qin Feng's possession. At this moment, a hint of regret even rose in Tang Hao's heart. If he had hidden it from Tang San and acted against Xiao Wu earlier, he could have at least obtained a 100,000-year spirit bone. Unfortunately, he had miscalculated. In the light screen, Qin Feng spoke again. It seems your desire to avenge your mother isn't that strong. Or is it because you don't trust me? Xiao Wu's face was as pale as paper, her body trembling slightly from fear, but a stubborn light flickered in her eyes. I would rather die in battle than let you slaughter me. Before her voice had even faded, spirit power erupted from Xiao Wu, and 3 spirit rings, yellow, and purple, rose from beneath her feet. The 3rd spirit ring and the 1st spirit ring lit up simultaneously. Teleportation and waist bow, activated together. Xiao Wu's figure shot out like lightning, moving 100 meters instantly. Her slender legs, carrying immense force, kicked toward Qin Feng. She held nothing back in this strike. The full power of a 100,000-year spirit beast in human form erupted at this moment. Even facing the unfathomably powerful Qin Feng, she would never just sit and wait for death. Commendable courage. Qin Feng said indifferently, not even moving from his spot, only raising his right hand with fingers spread. Zzz. Lightning gathered in his palm, forming a dense electric net. Xiao Wu's leg kicked the electric net, her violent power easily neutralized by the thunder, while a powerful current spread through her entire body along her leg. Ah! Xiao Wu cried out in pain, her entire person being sent flying, crashing heavily onto the ground. She struggled to crawl up, fine arcs of electricity still lingering on her, her body twitching uncontrollably. The disparity in strength between the two was simply too great. Despair welled up in Xiao Wu's heart. Her full strength blow couldn't even make Qin Feng move a single step, while the opponent just casually waved his hand and stripped her of her combat capability. Even so, she would not be captured easily. Second spirit ability, Charm. A pink light flashed in Xiao Wu's eyes as she attempted to use her charm skill to influence Qin Feng. However, Qin Feng only gave a cold snort, lightning flashed in his eyes, and Xiao Wu's charm skill was instantly broken. She let out a muffled groan, a trace of blood overflowing from the corner of her mouth. Overestimating yourself. Qin Feng shook his head. Since you don't know what's good for you, I'll just have to take the spirit bone myself. Chapter 38. Killing Xiao Wu, fusing the left leg bone. Qin Feng slowly raised his hand, and thunderous light gathered in his palm, forming a lightning orb the size of a fist. Though the lightning orb was small, the energy contained within it caused the surrounding air to begin to distort. Gravel on the ground moved without any wind, levitating into the air. Xiao Wu could feel that once that lightning orb exploded, it would be enough to completely annihilate her, leaving no trace of her remains. Many images flashed through her mind. Her mother's gentle smile, the time spent playing with Daming and Erming in the Stardow Great Forest, the scene of first meeting Tang San at N.A.N Academy, the days of fighting side by side with her partners at Shrek Academy. Jay. Xiao Wu murmured, 2 lines of clear tears sliding down from her eyes. She looked up at Qin Feng, a trace of resolve flashing in her eyes. Don't even think about getting my spirit bone. Before her voice could fade, a dazzling pink light erupted from her body, and a violent surge of energy began to gather within her. Foolish. A trace of coldness flashed in Qin Feng's eyes. In the next second, a bolt of purple gold lightning enveloped Xiao Wu. An icy aura descended, instantly suppressing the rampaging spirit power within her body, and the self-detonation process was forcibly interrupted. In my presence, you don't even have the qualification to self-detonate. Qin Feng said coldly. Xiao Wu fell into despair. Even though she gave it her all, she couldn't move an inch, even her spirit power seemed to be frozen solid. At Shrek Academy. Watching that purple gold lightning envelop Xiao Wu like a cage, Tang San's heart felt like it was being twisted by a knife. No. In his desperate roar, there was a pain that tore at his soul in a helpless rage. In that instant, all the blood in Tang San's body seemed to rush to his head, his vision went dark, leaving only that weak and helpless figure imprisoned by lightning within the light screen. The intense pain in his heart made it nearly impossible for him to breathe. Let her go, Qin Feng. I'm going to kill you. I will definitely kill you. Tang San's eyes were as red as blood, and the veins on his forehead bulged. The spirit power in his body surged uncontrollably, and blue-silver grass released without warning, spreading frantically. Little San, calm down. Tang Hao pressed down on Tang San's shoulder. Seeing that familiar sense of powerlessness in the light screen and watching his son's agonized state, a towering rage also surged in Tang Hao's eyes. He didn't want the tragedy to repeat itself. But at this moment, he too was powerless. Qin Feng, you beast, you demon. Tang San's voice was so hoarse it was nearly gone. He roared in vain toward that unreachable light screen, toward that silver-haired youth who held Xiao Wu's life and death in his hands, pouring out his bone-deep hatred. Flender, Yu Xiaogang, and the others were also shocked by the situation in the light screen and Tang San's reaction. Ning Rongrong was already covered in tears, covering her mouth to keep herself from crying out loud. Zhu Zuqing bit her lower lip hard, her face pale. Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, and Oscar all had eyes spitting fire, their fists clenched until they cracked, yet they also felt a bone-chilling cold. In the face of absolute power, even their anger seemed so pale and weak. Yu Xiaogang's face was ash-gray. He looked at the imprisoned Xiao Wu in the light screen, and then at the maddened Tang San beside him. A massive sense of sorrow and self-reproach flooded his heart. It was his incompetence as a teacher that he couldn't protect his student, nor could he even share a 10,000th of his disciples' heartache. Everyone's heart was in their throat. Emotions of tension, fear, anger, and despair intertwined, weighing heavily over the entirety of Shrek Academy. They could only watch helplessly as Qin Feng decided Xiao Wu's fate within that light screen. Under the desperate gaze of Tang San and the others, Qin Feng in the light screen moved. He did not hesitate in the slightest, even his eyes didn't flicker. The lightning orb floating in his palm, compressing terrifying thunderous power, trembled slightly and then turned into a straight purple gold electric flash, instantly piercing through the lightning cage surrounding Xiao Wu and accurately sinking into her heart. There was no earth-shattering explosion, only a faint muffled sound. Xiao Wu's body stiffened abruptly, and the light in her eyes quickly dimmed. She didn't even have time to make a sound before her delicate body collapsed downward. Xiao Wu. Tang San's scream was heart-wrenching. Blue-silver grass flailed and twitched frantically, just like his heart, which was currently on the verge of shattering. He watched helplessly as that pink figure lost its life force, feeling as if his own soul had been completely pierced and crushed along with that strike. Immediately after, strands of blood-red mist slowly rose from the lifeless body. The mist swirled and condensed in the air, gradually outlining the silhouette of a blood-red light ring. 100,000-year spirit ring. Across the continent, countless spirit masters watching this scene through the light screen, regardless of their cultivation level or location, couldn't help but hold their breath. 100,000-year spirit ring was taking shape right before their eyes. That blood-red light symbolized unparalleled energy. Xiao Wu. Shrek Academy was in dead silence, save for Tang San's heavy breathing and uncontrollable sobbing. Sister Xiao Wu. Deep within the Stardew Great Forest, two earth-shattering roars suddenly erupted by the lake, filled with endless grief, indignation, and fury. The Titan giant ape pounded the ground frantically with its fists, smashing out giant craters and roaring at the sky, the sound waves making the forest tremble. The sky azure bull python's massive body churned violently in the water, the lake surface kicking up monstrous waves. Those lantern-like eyes stared fixedly at the light screen, filled with overwhelming hatred and collapse. Damned bastard. I will definitely avenge Sister Xiao Wu. In the light screen, Qin Feng moved. He raised his hand, and a purple gold lightning blade, as condensed as if it were solid, was generated out of thin air. With a casual wave, the lightning blade accurately sliced across the left leg of Xiao Wu's corpse. A crystal-clear bone shimmering with a pink glow was taken out. It was indeed the 100,000-year soft bones rabbit left leg bone. Without the slightest delay, Qin Feng directly pressed that spirit bone, which emitted a powerful aura, against his own left leg. Light flickered, and the spirit bone merged into his left leg like liquid silver. He then sat cross-legged, closing his eyes to concentrate, with lightning swirling around his body as he began the fusion process. Time passed in dead silence and torment. Another 100,000-year spirit bone. To waste 100,000-year spirit ring, what a reckless waste of God's gifts. Blue-silver emperor right leg bone, soft bones rabbit left leg bone, plus his own lightning attribute spirit bone. If anyone could kill him, they could get 300,000-year spirit bones. If 300,000-year spirit bones were fused by the same spirit master, the boost it would bring is unimaginable. Outside the light screen, countless people had different thoughts. In front of the Supreme Pontiff Palace, Bibi Dong's eyes were filled with killing intent. What a Qin Feng! To actually treat a 100,000-year spirit ring as if it were nothing. Just on him alone there are 300,000-year spirit bones. This boy is too heaven-defying, he must be killed as soon as possible. Bibi Dong had already collected 6 spirit bones, and she even had an external spirit bone. The 300,000-year spirit bones on Qin Feng were useless to her, but she absolutely could not watch helplessly as those 3 spirit bones fell into the hands of others. Chapter 39 Tang Hao. Revenge, we'll take a shortcut. The core region of the Stardew Great Forest. DTN, Xiangjun, Wanyao Wang, and Bai Ji stood silently. Their gazes were all locked onto the light screen hanging in the sky. From Qin Feng's appearance to Xiao Wu's failed self-detonation attempt, to that merciless strike, and the subsequent condensation of the blood-red spirit ring and the extraction and fusion of the spirit bone, everything was clearly presented before their eyes. That child was a spirit beast in human form after all. Such an end is truly too tragic. Is Qin Feng also this cold toward his own kind? Bai Ji sighed softly, a trace of pity appearing in her gentle eyes. As the symbol of life and healing, she felt compassion for the passing of any life. A look of disdain and a cruel sneer appeared on Xiangjun's rugged face as he spoke in a muffled, booming voice. HMPH. That rabbit, instead of stabilizing her 100,000-year cultivation, insisted on transforming into a human and mingling in the human world. Looking at her, she even developed feelings for that weak human. She's utterly disgraced as spirit beasts. To end up like this now, she got what she deserved. Xiangjun was full of contempt for Xiao Wu's choice, believing she had brought it upon herself. A ghostly light flickered in Wanyao Wang's eerie eyes. It seems we were overthinking before. That brat transformed from a thunderclap hellvine is much stronger than we anticipated, and his methods are ruthless and decisive enough. In the short half-month since transforming into a human, he has already condensed two 10,000-year spirit rings and fused 200,000-year spirit bones. With this growth rate, his future is limitless. N.A.N. remained silent, merely staring quietly at Qin Feng fusing the spirit bone on the light screen. Every time Qin Feng appeared, he brought unexpected shocks. Transforming into human form, condensing 10,000-year spirit rings, consuming exotic herbs and tempering his body with ice and fire well water, easily killing 3 spirit emperors, devouring the blue-silver emperor's origin, fusing a 100,000-year blue-silver bone, toying with the clear sky Duluo, and now so cleanly dealing with a transformed 100,000-year spirit beast and plundering its spirit bone. This youth, transformed from a 100,000-year thunderclap hellvine, had a unique style of action. He had clear goals, direct methods, a precise understanding of what he needed, and merciless execution. Moreover, his control and application of his own power far exceeded his apparent level. He has secrets. This mystery piqued N.A.N's interest. That kid is definitely not as simple as a transformed 100,000-year thunderclap hellvine. What exactly is his background? In the sky. The light around Qin Feng's body gradually withdrew. He opened his eyes, stood up, and slightly moved his left leg, feeling the surging new power within it. As he expected, this left leg bone brought 200,000-year skills, teleportation and paragon golden body. With a thought, his figure appeared 100 meters away without warning, leaving only a tiny arc of electricity in his original spot. Immediately after, the left leg bone flickered slightly, and a faint golden halo instantly covered his entire body. Paragon Golden Body was a powerful defensive skill capable of granting immunity to attacks below the god rank, with a duration of 3 seconds. The duration of immunity could increase as his own strength grew. Not only that, the majestic energy brought by fusing this 100,000-year spirit bone pushed his spirit power to skyrocket from rank 35, directly breaking through the rank 40 bottleneck. He could now condense his 4th spirit ring on his own. However, he was in no rush for success. His spirit power foundation needed to be stabilized, and he also needed to absorb more lightning power to prepare for condensing a higher quality spirit ring. Qin Feng glanced at the 100,000-year spirit ring in the air that had not yet fully dissipated, still emitting an alluring red light and pressure. Then, his figure turned into a bolt of lightning, soaring into the sky and disappearing into the horizon. The giant light screen in the sky also rippled and faded with Qin Feng's disappearance, finally dissipating completely. Moonlight fell once again. Above Shrek Academy, a sorrow and silence heavier than dark clouds loomed. N.A.N. collapsed on the ground, his eyes hollow as if his soul had been snatched away. He could not accept the fact that Xiao Wu had been killed and her spirit bone forcibly stripped away. The flames of revenge in his heart, amidst extreme pain and despair, burned into a cold obsession. Qin Feng, one day, I will kill you. In the most cruel way. I will make you pay the heaviest price for hurting Xiao Wu. Across the continent, after a brief period of shock and silence, even more turbulent undercurrents surged. Those top-tier experts, looking at the sky where the light screen had vanished, had flickering gazes and shifting thoughts. The plan to hunt down Qin Feng needed to be accelerated. Shrek Academy, dormitory. The faint morning light filtered through the window lattice, falling on N.A.N's numb face. He had sat in the same posture all night, his eyes bloodshot, with dried tear tracks crusted on his cheeks. It wasn't until the sunlight stung his eyes that he slightly moved his eyeballs. The heart-wrenching dull pain in his chest was gradually replaced by hatred. N.A.N. stood up, walked to the table, poured a glass of cold water, and drank it in one gulp. The icy sensation sliding down his throat seemed to clear his head a bit. He turned toward Tang Hao, who had been silently guarding him by his side. Father, what Qin Feng said before, is it true? Have you really collected all 6 spirit bones? That's right. I do indeed have 6 spirit bones on me. Tang Hao looked at the stubbornness in his son's eyes that was almost burning, sighed in his heart, and did not hide the truth. 2 of them come from the sect's inheritance. The other 4 were obtained by chance after I fought countless life and death battles in the spirit beast forests and hunted thousands of spirit beasts. Hunted thousands of spirit beasts. N.A.N. repeated in a low voice. Father, I also want to hunt spirit beasts and obtain spirit bones. Fusing spirit bones can quickly increase my strength. I want to take this shortcut. I need to become stronger as quickly as possible, take back Mother's spirit bone, and avenge Mother and Xiao Wu. A shortcut. Tang Hao shook his head, his tone heavy. Little San, you are wrong. This path may be one way to increase strength, but it is by no means a shortcut, it is more like a long road filled with endless bloodshed, danger, and uncertainty. Thousands of spirit beasts in over a decade of time only yielded 4 spirit bones, the probability is so slim, and the cost is so immense. You cannot wait that long, and I will not let you gamble on a slim hope in this manner. Hearing these words, the fire in Tang San's eyes dimmed slightly, but then burned even brighter. Then, how should I become stronger? I can't wait any longer. If I cultivate step by step, when will I ever be able to avenge Mother and Xiao Wu? By then, Qin Feng will be even stronger. I understand. Tang Hao interrupted Tang San, a sharp light flashing in his eyes. To quickly increase strength, fusing spirit bones is not the only way. True power comes from within, from the exploration of one's spirit, and from tempering oneself on the edge of life and death. I came to find you precisely for this. Father, you mean there's an even faster way to increase strength? Tang Hao nodded. That's right. I'm going to take you away from here and put you through a period of special training. Then, I'll send you to a certain place for experience. There, you will truly be reborn. What place? Tang San asked hurriedly, hope igniting in his eyes. Tang Hao did not answer directly, but merely patted Tang San on the shoulder. You will know when the time comes. Now, pack up, we're going to say goodbye to your teacher. Chapter 40. Yu Xiaogong's dream shatters, Yu Luomian encounters Qin Feng. Inside the room. Inside the room, the atmosphere was heavy. Yu Xiaogong and Flender looked at Tang San. Despite his best efforts to hide it, his face still bore traces of sorrow and resolve. They also felt the heart-palpitating pressure radiating from Tang Hao, even though he had restrained his aura. Both understood the situation clearly. Tang Hao nodded slightly toward Yu Xiaogong and Flender. Grandmaster, Dean Flender, over these years, Little San has been under your tutelage. Especially you, Grandmaster, you laid a solid theoretical foundation for him and developed his potential. This kindness is something I, Tang Hao, will keep in my heart. Clear Sky Du Luo, you flatter me. It has been my honor to teach Little San. He possesses extraordinary talent and is incredibly hardworking. His achievements today are mostly due to his own efforts. A complex mix of emotions played across Yu Xiaogong's face. Flender said in a deep voice. Clear Sky Du Luo, Little San is also one of the most outstanding students of our Shrek. It's just, sigh, we are all very saddened that such a thing happened. We understand that you must take him away. I only hope he can move past this soon. Tang San took a step forward and bowed deeply to Yu Xiaogong and Flender. Teacher, Dean, thank you for your cultivation and care over these years. I must go with my father to train. When I become strong enough, I will definitely return. Also, for Boss Dai, Fatty, Zuching, Rongrong, Oscar, and the others, please say goodbye to everyone for me. Tang San's gaze swept across the concerned and reluctant faces of his 2 mentors, and a wave of bitterness welled up in his heart. This place had been his second home. He had companions, mentors, and Xiao Wu. But now, everything had changed. He had to leave and walk that thorny path of revenge and growth. Without any more sentimental words, Tang Hao patted Tang San on the shoulder and turned to walk out. Tang San looked back at Yu Xiaogong and Flender one last time, then resolutely followed his father's footsteps. The two walked out of the academy gates, their figures soon disappearing at the end of the road leading into the distance. By the window, Yu Xiaogong stood for a long time, staring in the direction where the Tang father and son had vanished. His eyes were full of reluctance and a deep sense of loneliness. The next Continental Advanced Spirit Master Academy Elite Tournament was only 2 years away. He had originally been full of ambition and had meticulously planned for it. With Tang San, who possessed twin spirits and infinite potential, along with Dai Mubai, Ma Hongjun, Ning Rongrong, and other uniquely gifted students, the Shrek 7 Devils were supposed to be the perfect stage for him to prove himself to the entire Spirit Masters world and wash away his reputation as a trash. He dreamed of leading this team to hack through all obstacles and eventually stand at the peak of the continent, letting everyone see that he, Yu Xiaogong, was no incompetent fool. But now, Xiao Wu had met a tragic end, Tang San had departed, and the core of the team had collapsed. Before his plan could even fully unfold, it had already been shattered into pieces. The blueprint that held half a lifetime of his blood, sweat, and expectations seemed to have been smashed to dust by Qin Feng's cold and ruthless strike. Xiaogang. Flender walked to Yu Xiaogong's side and sighed. Don't be too sad. With the clear sky Du Luo personally teaching him, Little San's future achievements will surely be limitless. Perhaps, when he returns, he will give us an even greater surprise. I know, when he returns, he will definitely be stronger than we can imagine. I just hope he can return before the Spirit Master tournament begins. Yu Xiaogang slowly withdrew his gaze, his voice sounding somewhat ethereal. He didn't finish his sentence, but Flender understood what he meant. If Tang San rejoined the team, with his strength and Tang Hao's special training, he would surely shine brilliantly in the Spirit Master tournament. However, the faint unease in Yu Xiaogong's heart did not dissipate. He looked out at the clear sky, yet he seemed to see hidden dark clouds. Qin Feng's appearance had completely disrupted the original trajectory of events. His growth rate was unimaginably fast, his methods were ruthless and decisive, and his background was mysterious and unfathomable. With such an unpredictable variable existing, what would happen to this continent within 2 years? Could the next Spirit Master tournament even be held as usual? Everything was unknown. Less than half an hour after Qin Feng entered the outskirts of the Stardow Great Forest, he keenly perceived an unusual fluctuation of spirit power. This fluctuation was chaotic and intense, clearly not originating from a single individual. It wasn't a spirit beast, but human spirit masters. What made his heart skip a beat was that it was faintly laced with a familiar lightning attribute aura. Qin Feng stopped in his tracks, a flash of vigilance appearing in his eyes. As he was pondering, the group seemed to have detected his presence as well. The fluctuations suddenly intensified, and they rapidly charged toward his location. Just in time. A curve formed at the corner of Qin Feng's mouth. Instead of avoiding them, he restrained his aura and stood calmly in place. A moment later, 8 figures burst through the layers of dense forest and appeared in Qin Feng's field of vision. The leader was an old man who looked to be 70 or 80 years old, yet his steps were steady, his eyes flashed with sharp light, and his entire body radiated a heart-palpitating pressure. He wore a deep blue long robe with dragon patterns embroidered on the sleeves. Following behind the old man were 7 middle-aged men, all dressed in tight-fitting martial attire with extraordinary bearings. The 8 of them came to a halt, faintly forming a surrounding formation, their gazes collectively locking onto Qin Feng. Right at that moment. In the sky, a golden screen of light unfolded once again without any warning. That familiar, magnificent scene appeared once more in every corner of the Du Luo continent. In the light screen, the scene of Qin Feng being surrounded by the group of 8 was clearly visible. The various powers on the Du Luo continent were once again alarmed. Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. Inside the discussion hall, Yu Yuanjun suddenly stood up from the main seat, his eyes fixed intently on the scene in the light screen. That's Luomian and the others. An elder cried out in shock. In the light screen, Yu Luomian led 7 elite disciples of the clan, surrounding Qin Feng with an overbearing aura. It's Qin Feng. Luomian and the others actually found him. The atmosphere in the hall instantly became heated. Several elders exchanged looks, their eyes glittering with greedy light. 100,000-year lightning attribute spirit bone, plus 2 other 100,000-year spirit bones. If we can obtain those 3 spirit bones, our Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan's strength will surely increase tremendously. An elder with white hair and a beard spoke with a trembling voice. Yu Yuanjun, however, had his brows tightly furrowed and was not as optimistic as the others. He had seen Qin Feng take action. That terrifying strength that could fight Tang Hao without being at a disadvantage was definitely not something an ordinary spirit Du Luo could deal with. Sect Master, what are you worried about? An elder noticed Yu Yuanjun's expression. Do you really think Luomian and the others have a chance of winning? Yu Yuanjun lowered his voice. You have all witnessed Qin Feng's strength. Even the clear sky Du Luo, Tang Hao, failed to kill him. The several elders looked at each other. One of the elders said. Didn't Qin Feng say it himself? Tang Hao has severe internal injuries. Moreover, after traveling all that way, his spirit power and physical energy were greatly depleted, so he couldn't exert his full strength. That Qin Feng only escaped by luck. That's right. Luomian's spirit power is as high as rank 86. With the violent attacks of our Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon, he is not at all weaker than a titled Du Luo level expert. Not to mention, the 7 elite disciples accompanying him all have the strength of a 6-ring spirit emperor or above. Furthermore, they have the Thunder Dragon array. Chapter 41. The disaster of the Blue Lightning Clan's extermination. You brought this on yourselves. With you Luomian's level 86 strength, plus the other 7 Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Spirit Masters, their joint execution of the Thunder Dragon array was enough to trap or even kill an ordinary titled Duluo. However, N.A.N was still somewhat worried. There's something strange about that kid, his spirit power level cannot measure his true combat strength. You all saw with your own eyes how he easily killed 3 6-ring spirit emperors with only 2 rings of strength. Furthermore, in his battle against Tang Hao, he wasn't at a disadvantage at all. Hearing this, the excitement of the several elders faded slightly, and worry appeared on their faces. N.A.N stared at the light screen and sighed softly. Things have come to this, our worrying here is redundant. I hope Luomian and the others will be successful. N.A.N had already prepared for the worst in his heart. He knew his younger brother all too well. Proud, impulsive, and somewhat greedy. Facing a prey like Qin Feng, who possessed 300,000-year spirit bones, Luomian would never give up easily. On a small path in a dense forest, Tang Hao and Tang San stopped at the same time and looked up at the sky. It's that golden light screen again. Seeing Qin Feng's figure, the spirit power within Tang San's body overflowed uncontrollably, and hatred burned in his eyes. Tang Hao's gaze instantly became sharp. Those are people from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. Tang San was stunned. Father, do you know them? Tang Hao nodded, looking at the elderly man leading the group on the light screen. That is Yu Luomian, the second in command of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan, an 8-ring spirit Duluo. His spirit power should be above level 85. Looking at where they are, it seems to be a spirit beast forest. Those people must have gone looking for Qin Feng on purpose. That's obvious. Tang Hao continued. Qin Feng's 100,000-year spirit bones are too tempting, especially his own lightning attribute spirit bone. For Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Spirit Masters, it's practically tailor-made. Father, do you think they can succeed? Tang Hao was silent for a moment, then slowly shook his head. It's hard to say. Yu Luomian is strong, but that bastard Qin Feng is unfathomable. When I fought him, I could clearly feel that his methods were bizarre, and he had mastered a secret technique to devour the power of thunder. Devouring the power of thunder. The thunderclap hell vine grows by devouring the power of heaven and earth's thunder. After he transformed, he seems to have retained this ability. Tang San's expression changed, suddenly feeling that something was wrong. If that's really the case, won't he be able to strengthen himself by devouring their lightning power when he fights those 8 lightning attribute spirit masters? There is indeed such a possibility. We'll know once we watch. Tang Hao's expression became focused. This is also an opportunity for us to see exactly how many trump cards Qin Feng has. If Yu Luomian and the others can kill Qin Feng, then we can reclaim your mother's spirit bone from them. Hearing this, a flicker of anticipation flashed in Tang San's eyes. If that really happens, will they hand over mother's spirit bone? It's not up to them. Everyone knows the Blue Silver Emperor is my, Tang Hao's, wife. The right leg bone fused by Qin Feng is a relic of my wife. Even if I have to risk my life, I will take back your mother's spirit bone. Father, I'll be with you. Tang Hao nodded without saying much more. The father and son stood in place, looking up at the light screen in the sky, waiting for the battle that was about to break out. Spirit City. Bibi Dong stood in front of the Supreme Pontiff Palace, watching the confrontation on the light screen. Is that a spirit beast forest? Yu Luomian. Gui Mei, Yu Guan, what on earth are those 2 useless things doing? They actually let the people from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan find Qin Feng first. Qin Feng has 300,000-year spirit bones on him. A flash of anger passed through Bibi Dong's eyes. Having witnessed Qin Feng fuse the 100,000-year Blue Silver Emperor right leg bone and the 100,000-year Soft Bones Rabbit left leg bone, she had sent a large number of experts to search for Qin Feng's whereabouts. She didn't expect Qin Feng to appear on the light screen again so soon, and even encounter people from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. Do you think Qin Feng is so easy to deal with? Perhaps another good show is about to be staged. Thinking back to the situation when Qin Feng fought Tang Hao, a strange smile appeared on Bibi Dong's face. She believed that even if Yu Luomian found Qin Feng, he might not necessarily get his way. She hoped that when Gui Mei and Yu Guan saw the situation on the light screen, they would already be on their way. No matter how strong Qin Feng was, it would be difficult for him to escape the two elders' spirit fusion skill, the unrivaled stillness domain. Tilde 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 tilde. 7 Treasure Glazed Tile School. Ning Fengji and Sword Du Luo Chen Xin stood on the sect's viewing platform, also watching the sky. It's Yu Luomian of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. Ning Fengji recognized the old man at a glance. Chen Xin's brow furrowed slightly. Even Yu Luomian has personally mobilized, those are likely all elite disciples of the Blue Lightning Tyrant sect. Indeed, Uncle Jian, do you think they have a chance of winning? I'm not sure either. However, since even Tang Hao couldn't kill Qin Feng, those people probably. Chen Xin didn't finish, but the meaning was already clear. Across the entire Duluo continent, countless spirit masters held their breath, staring intently at the golden light screen. Restaurants, streets, sects, academies. People gathered together, discussing fervently. 1 against 8. They wondered how Qin Feng would handle it this time. Tilde 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 tilde. Stardo Great Forest. Qin Feng looked at the 8 people before him with a calm expression. Qin Feng, it really is you. Yu Luomian spoke, his voice deep and thick like a clap of thunder. Qin Feng was calm and composed, sizing up the other party. It seems you've come looking for me specifically. You're quite lucky to have run into me. Feeling Qin Feng's disdain, anger immediately surfaced on the old man's face. HMPH. Don't think you're something special just because you killed a few spirit masters. That's right, we are here for you. Deploying so many lightning attribute spirit masters at once, if I'm not mistaken, you are from the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan. As Qin Feng spoke, a mocking smile curled at the corner of his mouth. Yu Luomian was stunned. He hadn't expected Qin Feng to directly state their origin. This spirit beast has clearly just transformed. Recognizing Tang Hao easily before might have been because of the Blue Silver Emperor. But this time, why could he recognize them so easily? Moreover, he seemed to know the various major powers of the continent like the back of his hand. Before he could think further, Yu Luomian snorted coldly. You have some insight. I am Yu Luomian, a level 86 attack system battle spirit Duluo. Kid, hand over the spirit bones, and I'll leave your corpse intact. Qin Feng shook his head slightly and sneered. Are the people of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan all this confident? Impudent. A spirit saint barked angrily. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon is the #1 beast spirit in the world. You're facing death, yet you still dare to be so arrogant. Qin Feng was even more disdainful, and a cold murderous intent began to spread from his purple gold eyes. You think you can take my spirit bones with just a few of you? Have you forgotten so quickly how Tang Hao was humiliated by me? Very well, you've come at just the right time. This disaster of clan extermination is something you brought upon yourselves. Chapter 42, Bibi Dong, my Shaogang cannot die. Qin Feng's words echoed inside and outside the golden screen, causing the entire Duluo continent to tremble. Extermination of the clan. Yu Luomian was stunned at first, then he became furious. Lightning suddenly surged around him, and the sound of crackling electricity filled the air. The spirit masters behind him also looked grim, their eyes burning with a rage that was almost ready to erupt. Just a mere transformed spirit beast who was lucky enough to obtain some opportunities, and you dare to speak of exterminating my entire clan. Arrogant child. Since its founding, the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan has weathered centuries of storms. When have we ever suffered such humiliation? Thunderclouds rolled in the sky, as if echoing their anger. Tilde 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 tilde. Inside the sect hall of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan. Arrogant scoundrel. Yu Yuanjun slammed his palm onto the table beside him. The hard sandalwood shattered instantly, sending wood chips flying everywhere. A raging fire of fury burned in his eyes, his hair and beard bristled, and the power of lightning overflowed uncontrollably, filling the entire hall with violent electric arcs. My Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan possesses the world's #1 beast spirit. For hundreds of years, we have stood at the pinnacle of the continent, even Spirit Hall has to show us some respect. He, a transformed spirit beast, actually dares to spout such nonsense about our clan's extermination. Several elders were also fuming with rage. One of them said harshly. Clan leader, this brat has publicly humiliated our clan. If we don't grind his bones to ash, how can the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan face the world? Another elder gritted his teeth and said. With N.A.N and 7 elite disciples working together, they will surely be able to slay this brat. Then, we will hang his corpse outside the sect to let the world see the consequences of insulting the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan. N.A.N suppressed his anger, a cold light flickering in his eyes. To insult my sect, this boy must die. Tilde 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 tilde. Shrek Academy. Yu Shaogang clenched his fists until his knuckles turned white. Although he had been marginalized by the clan due to the mutation of his spirit and eventually chose to leave, the blood of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon still flowed through his veins. Flender patted his shoulder. Shaogang, stay calm. The honor of the clan cannot be trampled upon by others. Qin Feng, he is too arrogant. With your second uncle's strength, he should be able to rival a titled Duoluo level expert, right? Yu Shaogang nodded slightly. I have been away from the sect for many years and am not sure of his exact strength. However, he should be above rank 85. Those people all possess the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon spirit, they can work together to perform the Thunder Dragon array, making it no problem at all to deal with a titled Duoluo level expert. That's wonderful. We should teach that arrogant boy a lesson. I hope second uncle can take him down. Although Yu Shaogang was somewhat wary of Qin Feng, he still had full confidence in N.A.N and his group. Tilde 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 tilde. In front of the Supreme Pontiff Palace. The corners of Bibi Dong's lips curled up slightly, revealing a meaningful smile. Extermination of the clan. Interesting. For the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan to be humiliated by Qin Feng in front of the whole world is truly retribution. Haha tilde tilde. They humiliated Shaogang back then, they should have died long ago. Bibi Dong pondered to herself, and a trace of worry suddenly appeared on her face. Shaogang. Shaogang was also a member of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan. Could he be in danger? HMPH. Qin Feng, if you dare to harm Shaogang, I will surely tear you into 10,000 pieces. Tilde 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 tilde. Stardow Great Forest, the center of the battlefield. N.A.N laughed out of extreme anger. Arrogant child, how dare you speak of exterminating my clan? Today, I will make sure you die without a place to be buried. Release spirits. Roar. 8 dragon roars sounded simultaneously, shaking the mountain forest. The 7 spirit masters instantly scattered, surrounding Qin Feng in the center, with a brilliant blue light shining beneath each of their feet. Meanwhile, N.A.N stood at the heavenly pivot position, the power of lightning surging wildly around him. Countless people saw this scene through the golden screen and couldn't help but gasp. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon spirit, the world's #1 beast spirit. At this moment, 8 people released their spirits at the same time, and the scene was incredibly shocking. Starting from rank 30, for every spirit ring a Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon spirit master obtains, one more part of their body undergoes dragonization. By the time they reach rank 70, a Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Spirit Master can truly transform into a dragon and unleash terrifying power, being hailed as the most fearsome attack system Spirit Masters of the same rank. At this moment, the arms of the 4 Spirit Emperor-level Spirit Masters had already transformed into dragon claws covered in blue scales, with sharp bone spikes extending from their elbows, semi-formed dragon spines growing from their backs, and violent lightning swirling around them. As for the 3 spirit saints, they had already completely entered the dragonization state. Their entire bodies were covered in thick blue dragon scales, their arms had completely transformed into dragon claws, their legs were thick and powerful, their feet were in the form of dragon claws, dragon horns grew from their foreheads, and thick dragon tails extended from their tailbones. The most shocking of all was N.A.N. A rank 86 attack system battle spirit Duoluo and the second in command of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, he now fully displayed the terrifying power of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. Roar. With another earth-shaking dragon roar, N.A.N's body began to change rapidly. His body expanded, and his entire form was covered in deep blue scales as thick as armor, each scale flashing with lightning. His arms completely transformed into thick dragon claws, his 5 fingers like hooks, with electric arcs dancing at his fingertips. The muscles in his legs bulged, and his feet transformed into massive dragon feet. His head had completely dragonized. A ferocious dragon head, sharp dragon teeth, a pair of dragon eyes flashing with electricity, and the dragon horns on his forehead pointed straight to the sky. A huge dragon tail swayed behind him, with highly compressed lightning power condensed at the tip, causing the air to crackle and pop. 2 yellow, 2 purple, and 4 black, 8 spirit rings circled his body. At this moment, N.A.N had transformed into a thunder giant dragon, radiating a suffocating pressure. Heavens! This is the dragonization form of a blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit master. The might of an 8-ring spirit Duoluo is indeed terrifying. Facing such a lineup, how will Qin Feng respond? He's finished this time. All over the continent, spirit masters watching the screen exclaimed one after another. Tilde 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 tilde. Both Tang San and Tang Hao stared intently at the screen. Father, the blue lightning tyrant dragon truly lives up to its name as the world's #1 beast spirit. I have fought against the blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit master Yu Tianeng before, though he was only a 3-ring spirit elder. Tang Hao nodded slightly. The most unique aspect of a blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit master is the ability to physically transform into a dragon. It truly deserves its reputation as the world's #1 beast spirit. However, compared to our clear sky hammer, it's still a bit lacking. Of course. A complex emotion flashed in Tang San's eyes. At this moment, Qin Feng was fighting 1 against 8 and seemed to be at a disadvantage. Tang San naturally wanted Qin Feng to die, but he preferred that Qin Feng die at the hands of him and his father. Tilde 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 tilde. 7 treasure glazed tile school. Sword Duoluo Chen Xen's expression was solemn. Qin Feng actually humiliated the blue lightning tyrant dragon clan in front of the whole world, and N.A.N is truly enraged. No matter the outcome, this battle will shake the continent. Indeed, it's just a pity about those 100,000-year spirit bones. If they fall into the hands of the blue lightning tyrant dragon clan, their overall strength will take another step forward. Tilde 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 tilde. In the center of the battlefield, facing the terrifying might of the 8 blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit masters, Qin Feng remained calm. Blue lightning tyrant dragon, the world's #1 beast spirit. Unfortunately, you have met me. Qin Feng's voice was very soft, yet it reached everyone's ears clearly. As soon as he finished speaking, he moved. Boom. A terrifying aura, not at all inferior to N.A.N's, erupted from Qin Feng's body. Purple gold lightning soared into the sky. Thunderclap Hellvine, released. Chapter 43, facing the Thunder Dragon array head-on, madly devouring the power of thunder. The violet gold thunderclap Hellvine was covered with strange thunderous patterns. The vines wound and coiled, each segment flashing with heart-palpitating lightning, containing destructive thunder power. Even more astonishingly, the moment it appeared, all the thunder power on the entire battlefield began to converge toward it uncontrollably. Then, black, 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 3 deep, ink-like black spirit rings rose one after another from beneath Qin Feng's feet. How is this possible? When he appeared on the light screen last time, he only had 2 spirit rings. How many days has it been since then? After the battle with Tang Hao, he actually condensed another spirit ring. What kind of cultivation speed is this? Spirit masters across the entire continent were shocked. Inside the light screen, a look of surprise and suspicion flashed through N.A.N's eyes, but he quickly calmed down. So what if he has 3 10,000-year spirit rings? He's still just a 3-ring spirit elder. And he was a rank 86 spirit Duoluo. By his side were also clan elites at the Spirit Emperor and Spirit Saint levels. Formation. N.A.N no longer hesitated and waved his dragon claw. 8 blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit masters moved simultaneously. Spirit rings shone around them. Brilliant blue light soared into the sky from the 8 of them, intertwining and connecting in midair to form a massive thunder net covering a 100-meter radius. Within the thunder net, phantoms of blue lightning tyrant dragons vaguely roamed and circled, letting out deafening dragon roars. Thunder Dragon Array, inescapable net. N.A.N stood at the center of the array, his 7th spirit ring suddenly shining as he poured spirit power into the formation. Boom. The thunder net descended from the sky, shruating toward Qin Feng. This thunder net not only contained terrifying thunder power but also sealed off all space for Qin Feng to dodge. Wherever the thunder net passed, the air was ionized, emitting a piercing screech, and the vegetation on the ground instantly turned to charcoal. This was the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan's combined attack formation. With 8 people's spirit power linked and the thunder overlapping, its power increased geometrically. Even experts at the titled Duoluo level would find it difficult to escape once caught in this array. Facing this lethal thunder net, Qin Feng still stood in place, without even the intention to dodge. He simply raised his right hand slowly, palm facing upward. With a thought, he activated the temporary skill he had exchanged for long ago, Invincible Defense. In the next moment, brilliant golden light erupted from within Qin Feng, forming a 3-meter diameter golden shield that completely enveloped him. HMPH. Overestimating yourself. To dare take the Thunder Dragon array head-on. You know nothing of the power of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. Yu Luomian snorted coldly. The massive thunder net smashed down fiercely like a mountain. Boom. The thunder net slammed violently into the golden shield. In an instant, thunder exploded and golden light scattered in all directions. A terrifying shockwave spread outward from the point of impact. Everything within a 100-meter radius was destroyed. However, when the intense tremors subsided, everyone was stunned. The golden shield still stood tall, its light flowing, and Qin Feng was completely unharmed. How is this possible? A spirit saint cried out in shock. Yu Luomian's eyes were also filled with horror. The thunder net they had cast with their combined strength contained destructive power that would heavily injure even a titled Duluo taking it head-on, yet this golden shield had actually blocked it. Yu Luomian never expected Qin Feng's defense to be powerful to such an extent. As the second in command of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, he absolutely could not lose the clan's face here. Thunder Dragon Array, Thunder's Wrath. Yu Luomian shouted loudly. The 6th spirit rings on the 4 spirit emperors suddenly shone. The 7th spirit rings on the 3 spirit saints also lit up simultaneously. And on Yu Luomian, his highest age 8th spirit ring also suddenly erupted with brilliant light. Clearly, they were all about to unleash their strongest spirit abilities, vowing to kill this silver-haired youth who dared to humiliate the Blue Lightning clan. For a moment, the entire battlefield turned into a sea of thunder. The violent thunder power caused the air to become distorted. Even through the light screen, people felt the tremors in space. A reckless fool who doesn't know death. I'll see how long you can hold out. With Yu Luomian's angry shout, the thunder power released by the 8 people converged madly toward the center of the formation, merging in the blink of an eye into a terrifying pillar of thunderous light. Countless blue-purple electric lights pulsed wildly on the thunder pillar. The thunder pillar descending from the sky, like heavenly punishment, slammed fiercely onto the golden shield. Boom. A deafening explosion rang out. Countless spirit masters watching felt the terrifying impact even through the light screen. They couldn't help but shiver, their bodies unconsciously recoiling. On the battlefield, several Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon spirit masters nearby were shaken back several steps. Only Yu Luomian stabilized himself through sheer strength. The ground within a 100-meter radius had all turned to scorched earth, revealing shocking ravines. To everyone's shock, even in the face of such a violent thunder attack, the golden shield enveloping Qin Feng still stood firm. Furthermore, Qin Feng still had not suffered the slightest injury. His expression was calm, as if the violent thunder attack had nothing to do with him. Seeing this, everyone watching the battle was shocked. How is this possible? What kind of defensive skill is that? To actually be able to take such a powerful thunder attack head-on. Yu Luomian and the others looked at Qin Feng, also too shocked to speak. They believed that this thunder power, containing each of their strongest strikes, would be enough to break Qin Feng's defense and completely destroy him. But Qin Feng had still blocked this blow. This damn bastard, what kind of monster is he? Yu Luomian stared fixedly at Qin Feng inside the shield, thunderous light flashing intensely in his eyes. He had been full of confidence before, but now a trace of panic appeared. The others looked at each other, all somewhat at a loss. Right then, something even more terrifying to them happened. Inside the golden shield, the thunderclap hell vine behind Qin Feng suddenly surged in size. The vines extended out, pressing against the inner wall of the golden shield. Then, the thunder power that had bombarded the shield actually began to be madly absorbed by the vines. ZZZZT. Thunderous light flared on the thunderclap hell vine's tendrils, as violet gold arcs of electricity leapt and flowed. It was like a bottomless pit, greedily devouring the thunder power from the outside. These violet gold vines were changing at a speed visible to the naked eye. They became thicker, their color deeper, and the pressure they emitted even more terrifying. He's devouring our thunder power. A spirit emperor shouted in terror. Yu Luomian's expression changed drastically, and he shouted loudly. Withdraw the array, hurry. The 8 of them acted together, quickly withdrawing their spirit power. The thunder power of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon is indeed quite good. The corners of Qin Feng's mouth curled into a cold arc. Within those violet gold eyes was a cold killing intent. Now, it's my turn to strike. Chapter 44, Thunder's Wrath, a Killing Spree. As the voice fell, the golden light shield suddenly dissipated. The thunderclap hellvine behind Qin Feng had now surged to 20 meters high, its entire body wreathed in thunderlight, emitting a terrifying pressure that changed the very color of the heavens and earth. Tilde 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 tilde. Inside the main hall of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, Yu Yuanjun stood up abruptly, a look of fear and shock appearing in his eyes. Devouring thunder, strengthening himself. I see. The thunderclap hellvine was originally a natural wonder that grew by devouring thunder. After taking human form, this ability had not only failed to disappear but had become even more terrifying because it now possessed human intelligence. Not good. Luo Mian and the others are in danger. Several elders also turned pale. Through the light screen, they could all feel the terrifying pressure Qin Feng was currently emitting. That was no longer an aura a three-ring spirit elder should have. It was clearly a destructive power comparable to a titled Duluo-level powerhouse. Tilde 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 tilde. Stardow Great Forest. The 8 Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Spirit Masters simultaneously withdrew their spirit power, attempting to sever their connection with the Great Thunder Array. But that violent thunder power had already leaked out, surging outward uncontrollably like a flood breaking through a dam. And Qin Feng's thunderclap hellvine was greedily devouring it all. ZZZZT. On the purple gold vines, thunderlight slithered and leapt like a living thing, every inch of the vine body frantically devouring the dissipating thunder power around it. The Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Spirit Masters prided themselves on their violent thunder power. But how could they have imagined that their violent thunder power would actually become a weakness in this battle? Whether in combat or defense, they had to release thunder power. The power they were so proud of had now become the nourishment for Qin Feng's growth. This left them in a very passive position. Everyone, retreat immediately. Open up the distance. Yu Luomian shouted, a fierce glint flashing in his eyes. But it was too late. At the very moment the 8 of them were distracted by withdrawing their spirit power and their minds were wavering. A light flashed on Qin Feng's left leg as he activated a 100,000-year left leg bone skill. Teleportation. With no charging and no warning, Qin Feng's figure suddenly vanished from the spot. Disappearing along with him was the already surged thunderclap hellvine, its entire body wreathed in thunderlight. He's above us. A spirit saint looked up in terror. Qin Feng silently released the 100,000-year blue-silver emperor right leg bone, hovering in midair. The thunderclap hellvine behind him was like a purple-gold thunder dragon, coiling and spiraling. The vine body was as thick as a pillar, every segment flashing with heart-palpitating destructive thunderlight. Around Qin Feng, 3 10,000-year spirit rings as deep as ink shone simultaneously. His long silver hair danced wildly under the surging thunder power, and his purple-gold eyes looked down at the earth like a god looking down at ants. At this moment, Qin Feng was like the god of thunder descended to the world. Watch closely, this is the true thunder's wrath. Qin Feng's cold voice echoed across the battlefield. The third spirit ring suddenly erupted with a piercing black light, and a terrifying amplifying force burst from within Qin Feng. The thunderlight on the thunderclap hellvine surged instantly, the purple-gold electrical arcs swelled from the thickness of a thumb to the thickness of an arm, and the entire vine seemed to come alive, letting out a deafening roar of thunder. A 200% increase in thunder power. This was the terrifying effect of the thunderclap hellvine's third spirit ability. In this state, the power of all attacks was increased by twofold. But this was only the beginning. The second spirit ring and the first spirit ring lit up at the same time. Almost simultaneously, Qin Feng activated his other 2 spirit abilities. Second spirit ability, Thunder Purgatory. First spirit ability, Heavenly Thunder Induction. Black light and purple gold thunderlight intertwined, forming a domain of destructive light. Rumble. The heavens and earth changed color. With Qin Feng as the center, the sky within a 200-meter radius suddenly turned gloomy. Dark clouds gathered from all directions, and thunder snakes danced wildly within the cloud layers. 8 thick purple-gold pillars of thunder emerged from the clouds, directly locking onto the 8 Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Spirit Masters on the ground. Defend, quickly. Yu Luomian roared at the top of his lungs, his 7th spirit ring lighting up. 7th spirit ability, Martial Soul True Body. Boom. Yu Luomian's dragon body instantly expanded, his entire form wreathed in thunderlight. The four spirit emperors also released defensive spirit abilities, layers upon layers of thunder shields forming. The three spirit saints directly activated their martial soul true bodies, their thunder power pouring out frantically as they tried to withstand this thunderous punishment descending from the heavens. What they didn't know was that this was exactly what Qin Feng wanted. Let the thunder power come even more fiercely. A cold smile flashed in Qin Feng's eyes. With a thought, the thunderclap hell vine behind him suddenly spread out all its vines. 8 pillars of thunder crashed down. Boom, 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 boom. 8 earth-shaking explosions erupted almost simultaneously. The entire battlefield trembled under this terrifying thunderous bombardment. 8 scorched craters several meters deep were blasted into the ground. The shockwave spread outward like a tsunami, and all trees within a 200-meter radius were shattered into powder. Ah tilde 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 tilde. Shrill screams rang out. The defenses of those 4 Spirit Emperor level Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Spirit Masters were as fragile as paper before the heavenly thunder of doubled power. As the thunder pillar crashed down, the thunder shield of the outermost Spirit Emperor shattered instantly. The thunder pillar's remaining force did not diminish, striking him directly on the head. He only had time to let out a short scream before his entire body disintegrated in the violent thunder. Dragon scales were torn apart, flesh and blood were ionized, and bones turned to charcoal under the high temperature. When the thunderlight dissipated, only a scorched mark remained on the spot, not even a complete skeleton was left. The end for the other 3 Spirit Emperors was exactly the same. The area effect of Thunder Purgatory left them with nowhere to run, and the locked-on strike of Heavenly Thunder Induction made it impossible for them to avoid. Their defenses shattered like bubbles, and their bodies were torn apart in the thunder, flesh and blood flying everywhere. In just the first wave of attacks, 4 Spirit Emperors were turned to ash under Qin Feng's thunderous bombardment. The lingering sound of thunder hissed in the air, and the pungent smell of charred flesh and blood spread out. Although the 3 Spirit Saints withstood this strike, they were by no means in a good state. Their dragon scales were covered in cracks and scorched in many places. Yu Luomian, relying on his powerful strength, took this strike head-on. But seeing those 4 Spirit Emperors die so miserably, a wave of terror instantly surged in his heart. Qin Feng's attack came too quickly and too brutally, giving them no time to react at all. Clashing with thunder power had already lost its meaning. At this moment, Qin Feng in midair was controlling the thunderclap hellvine to frantically devour thunder power. ZZZZT. The vines of the thunderclap hell vine were like hungry behemoths, frantically absorbing all the dissipating thunder energy on the battlefield. The spirit power that erupted when the 4 Spirit Emperors died, the lightning released by the 3 Spirit Saints while defending, and the electrical flashes from the crumbling giant blue dragon that Yu Luomian had transformed into, all were devoured by the vines. At the same time, a soft blue-gold halo emanated from Qin Feng's right leg. The 100,000-year blue-silver Emperor right leg bone brought a terrifying recovery ability. Qin Feng had just performed 3 10,000-year spirit abilities simultaneously, consuming a massive amount of energy. Fortunately, he was continuously devouring thunder, combined with the soul bone's astonishing recovery speed. With both working together, his spirit power recovered to over 70% in just 3 breaths. How is this possible? Looking at Qin Feng, whose aura showed no sign of weakening but instead grew stronger and stronger, Yu Luomian's eyes filled with despair. He finally understood that this silver-haired youth was a demon specifically destined to counter Thunder Attribute Spirit Masters. Chapter 45. Burning Spirit Power, the Desperate Yu Luomian. Scatter and retreat. Yu Luomian made a prompt decision, his voice hoarse as he roared. He could no longer care about the clan's reputation. Facing an enemy who could infinitely devour lightning, rapidly recover spirit power, and possessed invincible defense and teleportation, continuing to fight would only lead to death. Trying to run. Too late. Qin Feng's cold voice sounded like the proclamation of a god of death. His figure flickered. In the next instant, he appeared directly in front of a spirit saint. This spirit saint had just reacted when he saw a sphere entwined with purple gold lightning blasting toward him. No. The spirit saint's scream came to an abrupt halt. The sphere's lightning surged, and the violent power of thunder struck him directly in the head. Boom. The blue thunder dragon convulsed violently, lightning spewing from its 7 orifices as its entire head instantly exploded. Flesh and blood splattered, but before they could even hit the ground, they were evaporated by the surrounding lightning. Having killed one person, Qin Feng did not stop for a moment, the light on his left leg flashing again. Teleportation. Teleportation again. Qin Feng flickered across the battlefield like a ghost, each appearance accompanied by a violent lightning attack. A second spirit saint had just flown up over 10 meters when he was bound by a purple gold vine that suddenly shot out. Immediately after, Qin Feng's figure appeared behind him, purple gold lightning condensing into a blade. Poochie. The lightning blade stabbed through the broken dragon scales on his back and emerged from his chest, directly piercing the spirit saint's heart. Ah! A scream rang out. Immediately, the aura of life rapidly dissipated. The third spirit saint had already fled several hundred meters. He was putting forth all his effort, desperately trying to escape this battlefield of death. But Qin Feng used teleportation several times in succession, catching up in the blink of an eye. Swoosh! A lightning pearl shot through the air like a cannonball, trailing a purple gold afterimage in the sky. In an instant, it caught up to the fleeing spirit saint. Boom! A deafening explosion sounded. That spirit saint was blown to pieces. At this point, all 7 elites of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan who had followed Yu Luomian, 4 spirit emperors and 3 spirit saints, had fallen. Only Yu Luomian remained. This second in command of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, a rank 86 spirit Duluo, had now been caught by Qin Feng. You can't escape. No matter how fast Yu Luomian's speed was, it could not outpace teleportation. Yu Luomian stopped and looked at Qin Feng, who was blocking his path. In his eyes, besides fear, there was also overwhelming rage and hatred. Damn spirit beast, how dare you kill so many elites of my Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan. Yu Luomian's voice was hoarse, and his dragonized body trembled violently, whether from anger or fear. Today, even if I, Yu Luomian, must sacrifice this life, I will tear you into 10,000 pieces. As his words fell, blue light erupted from Yu Luomian's body. This time, the light was tinged with a sense of resolve and madness. To avenge his clansmen and to save his own life, Yu Luomian chose the most extreme method, burning spirit power to exchange for a short-term surge in combat strength. This was his ultimate technique, using it would exhaust his spirit power. Therefore, he would not easily use it under normal circumstances. Boom! The lightning around Yu Luomian's body surged once more, and crimson patterns emerged on the blue dragon scales. His aura instantly skyrocketed, reaching the level of a titled Duluo. Look closely, this is the true Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. Yu Luomian roared at the sky, as if announcing it to the whole world. He brought his claws together, and the lightning power generated by burning his spirit power condensed frantically between his palms, turning into a terrifying lightning ball over half a meter in diameter. Electric snakes danced wildly within the lightning ball, emitting destructive fluctuations that caused the surrounding space to begin to distort. This was the strongest strike Yu Luomian unleashed by burning his spirit power, its power sufficient to rival a full-strength attack from a true titled Duluo. Die! Yu Luomian's arms thrust forward violently, and that destructive lightning ball smashed toward Qin Feng like a falling star. Wherever it passed, the air was torn apart, letting out bursts of explosions. Facing this terrifying strike, a hint of solemnity flashed in Qin Feng's eyes. However, he did not dodge, instantly activating invincible defense. Buzz! The brilliant golden light shield appeared once again, completely enveloping Qin Feng. In the next moment, the destructive lightning ball slammed hard into the golden light shield. Rumble, rumble, rumble. This explosion was more terrifying than any before. Blinding lightning and golden light intertwined, forming an energy sphere over 100 meters in diameter. Wherever the light sphere reached, all matter was annihilated. A giant crater 10 meters deep was blasted into the ground, and the shockwave swept across several hundred meters, destroying countless ancient trees as if doomsday had arrived. The spectators, even through the light screen, felt a wave of palpitations. The power of this strike had truly reached the titled Duluo level. However, when the blinding light faded and the dust slowly settled, everyone saw that unbelievable scene. In the deep pit, the golden light shield still stood firm. Inside the light shield, Qin Feng was still standing, his silver hair fluttering and his purple gold eyes as calm as water. He had blocked this strike. No. Impossible, this is impossible. Yu Luomian looked at the still standing golden light shield, his eyes revealing complete despair. His strongest strike unleashed by burning spirit power was still unable to break Qin Feng's defense. What kind of defense was this? Why was it powerful to such an extent? Just as Yu Luomian was dazed, a brilliant purple gold light suddenly soared into the sky from the deep pit. Yu Luomian, this move of yours is truly wonderful. As the words fell, the light on Qin Feng's left leg flashed, and teleportation was activated. In the next moment, his figure suddenly appeared in the sky above Yu Luomian's head. Countless vines, densely packed like a purple gold giant net, covered the sky and descended. Not good. Yu Luomian's pupils constricted as he lashed out with his claws, lightning exploding as he tried to tear the vines apart. However, these vines were not meant for binding or attacking, they had only one goal, to devour. Puff 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 tilde tilde. Dozens of vines instantly entangled Yu Luomian's massive dragonized body, directly connecting to the source of the surging, burning lightning spirit power within him. No, you damn demon. Yu Luomian let out an unwilling scream. He felt that the vast lightning power he had generated by burning his spirit power, which should have been converted into a destructive strike, was now being frantically drained by those purple gold vines like a flood breaking through a dam. Zzz tilde 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 tilde. Lightning flared brightly on the vines. Purple gold electric light flowed back along the vine bodies into Qin Feng's body. The thunderclap hell vine naturally fed on lightning. At this moment, it was like a long-awaited rain after a drought, incredibly greedy. The brilliant blue lightning around Yu Luomian dimmed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Get off! Yu Luomian roared, trying to shatter these damned vines with his powerful strength. Boom! Violent lightning exploded from the surface of his body. Blue lightning surged outward like a tsunami. The dozens of vines attached to his body were instantly blown into countless purple gold fragments, turning into dots of lightning. However, before Yu Luomian could catch his breath, his heart sank to the bottom once more. Just as those vine fragments had not yet fully dissipated, new purple gold vines shot out from behind Qin Feng again. This time, it wasn't dozens, but hundreds. They wove into an airtight lightning net, once again enveloping Yu Luomian and frantically devouring the lightning power he erupted. Chapter 46. Killing Yu Luomian. Yu Luomian struggled frantically. Dragon claws tore, a dragon tail swept, and thunderous light continuously exploded across his massive body. But every time he shattered a batch of vines, a new batch would bind him again. What was even more terrifying was that shattering the vines also required consuming spirit power. The spirit power consumed would likewise dissipate into lightning energy, which was then devoured by the other waiting vines nearby. This was an inescapable death loop. Attack. The consumed lightning power would be devoured. Defend. The lightning power maintaining the defense would also be devoured. Forcefully shatter the vines. The erupting energy would still be devoured. No matter how Yu Luomian struggled, his lightning spirit power was draining rapidly, devoured voraciously by Qin Feng's thunderclap hell vine. Qin Feng, you demon, you will die a horrible death. Yu Luomian's eyes were nearly splitting, his voice distorted by fear and despair. He felt his strength draining away at high speed, and the brief boost from burning his spirit power was also rapidly fading. A demon. Qin Feng hovered in midair, looking down coldly at the blue giant dragon below, which was wrapped in layers of purple gold vines like a struggling cocoon. Didn't you want me to die without a place to be buried? You were so arrogant before, and now all that's left is impotent rage. As Qin Feng spoke, he slowly raised his right hand, his fingers curling into a hollow grip. Following his movement, all the thunderclap hell vines wrapped around Yu Luomian simultaneously erupted with a blinding purple gold light, and the speed of devouring suddenly accelerated. Ah! Yu Luomian let out a heart-wrenching wail of agony. The last trace of lightning spirit power in his body was completely sucked dry. His dragonified body could no longer be maintained, rapidly shrinking and regressing back into human form. At this moment, Yu Luomian's face was as pale as paper, his skin was cracked all over, his hair was withered and white, and his eye sockets were sunken, looking like a dried corpse drained of all vitality and spirit. He slumped on the ground, lacking even the strength to lift a finger, only able to watch in despair as Qin Feng slowly landed in front of him. The world's #1 beast spirit, the blue lightning tyrant dragon. It's nothing more than this. Qin Feng looked coldly at Yu Luomian, his voice flat and emotionless. Yu Luomian's lips moved, wanting to say something, but he couldn't make a sound, only a bone-deep hatred and fear flickered in his eyes. In consideration of the fact that you contributed so much lightning power to me, I'll give you a quick death and leave your body intact. However, your corpse will be eaten clean by spirit beasts. Since you've killed so many spirit beasts, consider this paying back your debt. Hearing this, Yu Luomian's pupils suddenly contracted, and a look of unprecedented terror flashed in his eyes. He was the second in command of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan, an 86th rank spirit Duluo, a lightning powerhouse no weaker than a titled Duluo. When he had confidently led the clan's elite team into this forest half a month ago, how could he have ever imagined he would end up like this? He had originally wanted to seize the lightning attribute Spirit Bone from Qin Feng's body to use it to break through to the titled Duluo realm. He had even imagined bringing this silver-haired youth's head back to Nine Dragon Mountain and hanging it in the clan's martial arts arena to intimidate everyone. But reality was so ironic. In just half a month, Qin Feng's strength had actually advanced by leaps and bounds to such a degree. That bizarre ability to devour lightning, that indestructible defense, those elusive teleportation skills. Everything exceeded Yu Luomian's understanding. He hadn't even pushed Qin Feng to his limits before falling from his peak to rock bottom before his very eyes in this despairing cycle of devouring. He was unwilling to let the clan's dignity be insulted, unwilling to let his lifetime of hard cultivation be destroyed by a teenager, and unwilling to be unable to even preserve a complete corpse. No matter how much resentment he felt, he could only wait for death now. Qin Feng raised his right hand slightly, and a purple-gold blade of light condensed at his fingertips. He gave a gentle flick. The light blade silently sank into Yu Luomian's chest, accurately piercing the heart that had nearly stopped beating. Yu Luomian's body twitched violently, and the light in his eyes completely went out. The corpse slowly fell to the ground, kicking up a small cloud of dust. The second in command of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan ended his life in such a frustrated and tragic manner. Qin Feng looked at the body that was rapidly losing its warmth, his eyes showing no ripple of emotion. Survival of the fittest, this was the law of the Duluo continent. If he were the one who lost today, his fate would only be even more miserable. Tilde. Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. A suffocating silence enveloped the entire island. All the members of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan who were watching this battle through the light screen were now frozen in place. The younger disciples' legs went weak, and some even slumped to the ground. No, Luomian. A heart-wrenching roar suddenly exploded. Yu Yuanjun's eyes were as red as blood, and the violent lightning around him erupted uncontrollably. Veins bulged on his forehead, and the terrifying pressure of a titled Duluo made the entire hall tremble. Qin Feng, you insulted my sect and killed my clansmen. I will definitely tear you into 10,000 pieces. His biological younger brother had died a tragic death before his eyes, and 8 clan elites had all fallen. For the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan, this was a humiliation they hadn't faced in 100 years, and an even greater loss that cut to the bone. The elders' faces were equally grim, their eyes filled with both grief and deep fear. They had not only witnessed Yu Luomian's death but also heard Qin Feng's casual yet bone-chilling words. A disaster of clan extermination. This was not just an insult, but a declaration of war. Patriarch, please calm your anger. An elder with white hair and beard suppressed the fear in his heart and said in a trembling voice. This boy's methods are bizarre, he can counter our clan's lightning, and now, he has shown such terrifying growth speed. We must plan this carefully. Yu Yuanjun turned his head sharply, the lightning around him becoming even more violent. Pass down my order. The clan is to enter the highest state of combat readiness. All clansmen who are away are to be recalled immediately. Shrek Academy. Yu Shaogang stood dazed before the light screen. His face was frighteningly pale, and his lips trembled slightly. Those eyes, which were usually filled with wisdom and contemplation, were now filled with complex and indescribable emotions. Heartache, fear, despair. Yu Luomian was dead. The uncle who was once high and mighty, who viewed him as the clan's shame, and who personally tore him and Erlong apart, was dead. He died so tragically, so utterly without dignity. For so many years, Yu Shaogang had carried the name of trash, and was separated from his true love. A large part of the reason for this could be blamed on Yu Luomian's stubbornness and cold-bloodedness. Now that Yu Luomian was dead, should he feel gratified? However, he didn't. He only felt waves of sharp pain in his heart. No matter how Yu Luomian had treated him, he was still his biological uncle, a blood relative of the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan. What made him even more fearful was the strength Qin Feng had displayed. That ability to devour lightning was simply born to counter the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon. If Qin Feng truly meant what he said about exterminating the Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon clan, Yu Shaogang didn't dare to think further. Shaogang. Flender looked at the despondent Yu Shaogang with concern and gently patted his shoulder. Yu Shaogang took a deep breath, forcing himself to calm down. I'm fine. I don't know how long is. Chapter 47, Condensing the Fourth Spirit Ring. At the mention of Lu Erlong, a faint sadness appeared in the eyes of both Yu Shaogang and Flender. They were originally the Golden Triangle, known for their perfect chemistry, but they hadn't met since Yu Shaogang and Lu Erlong were forcibly separated by Yu Luomian. They didn't even know where Lu Erlong was. They wondered what Lu Erlong's thoughts would be when she saw the scene of her father Yu Luomian's tragic death. Tilde 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 tilde. Heaven Do City. Blue Tyrant Academy, the backyard bamboo grove. The bamboo leaves rustled in the wind, yet they couldn't mask the sound of suppressed sobbing. Lu Erlong sat kneeling on the ground, her shoulders trembling violently. Tears flowed from her eyes like a flood from a broken dam, dripping onto the blue stone floor and blooming into dark patches. She hated Yu Luomian. She hated this father who had given her life but never acknowledged her. She hated the culprit who had coldly torn her and Shaogang apart all those years ago, leaving two people who loved each other in pain for half their lives. For so many years, she had questioned and cursed him countless times in her dreams, even thinking that one day she would stand before him and personally demand an explanation. But she never imagined that the man she hated would meet such a miserable end. Through the light curtain, she watched with her own eyes as that majestic and domineering man collapsed on the ground like a dead dog, his life taken with casual ease, ultimately unable to even keep his body intact. Why did it turn out like this? I hate you so much, but... Lu Erlong's voice was broken, mixed with sobs. He was her father, after all. The bond deep within the bloodline would not be completely severed by hatred. The moment she saw Yu Luomian truly die, her heart still ached as if pierced by a knife. Tilde 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 tilde. Stardo Great Forest. Yu Luomian was dead, but Qin Feng was in no hurry to leave. He sat cross-legged about 10 yards away from Yu Luomian's corpse, closing his eyes to regulate his breathing. The violent thunder light around him gradually subsided. With a slight thought, a blue-gold halo quietly bloomed from his right leg, rippling out like water and gently enveloping his entire body. The 100,000-year blue-silver emperor right leg bone contained not only vast vitality but also powerful recovery abilities. As the halo circulated, Qin Feng could clearly feel that the spirit power consumed during the battle was recovering at an incredible speed. The minor injuries in his meridians caused by the high-intensity energy flush were also rapidly healing under the nourishment of life energy. Even the mental fatigue seemed to be washed away by warm water, gradually dissipating. In another part of the mountain forest, Tang San and Tang Hao were both watching this scene. Damned bastard. Tang Hao smashed a fist into the cliff face, the hard rock shattered instantly, spiderweb-like cracks spreading for several yards. His eyes were bloodshot, his chest heaving violently, and the wild killing intent around him caused the surrounding air to stagnate. The images in the light curtain were like a dull knife repeatedly cutting into his heart. That blue-gold halo was exactly Yin's aura. He would never mistake it. The right leg bone left behind after Yin's sacrifice contained her most fundamental life force and innate abilities as a 100,000-year blue-silver emperor. It was the proof that she had existed, the most precious thing Tang Hao held onto in his heart. But now, this spirit bone had actually been fused by Qin Feng. Qin Feng was using his wife's remains to recover spirit power and strengthen himself. How could he endure this? Father. Tang San stood to the side, his expression equally unsightly. With the spirit bone left by his mother being used by another, the anger in his heart was by no means less than Tang Hao's. But more than that, there was a deep sense of powerlessness. He had witnessed the entire process of that battle with his own eyes. Every spirit ability of Qin Feng's, every response, that kind of terrifying control that made everything look easy and calculated, was deeply imprinted in his heart. A 3-ring spirit elder had killed 8 blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit masters across levels, including an 8-ring spirit Duluo. Just how terrifying was that? I must become stronger as soon as possible. Tang San clenched his fists. Qin Feng was already this formidable. If he continued to grow, how could they deal with him? The great vengeance for Xiao Wu and his mother might never be avenged in this lifetime. Therefore, he had to become stronger quickly, no matter the cost. Tang Hao breathed heavily, trying his best to calm his churning killing intent. He looked at his son, his eyes containing both anger and gratification. Tang San had not been crushed by fear, instead, it had ignited an even stronger fighting spirit, which was good. Little San, I will train you in the strictest way. The secret methods of the Clear Sky sect, the essence of the disorder-splitting wind hammer method, you must master everything as quickly as possible. Father, I will definitely work hard. Tang San's eyes were full of determination. Tang Hao nodded in gratification and looked once more at the figure enveloped in the blue-gold halo within the light curtain, the cold light in his eyes like ice. I will definitely take back Yin's spirit bone. I will use that boy's blood to wash away this humiliation. Tilde 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 tilde. Stardow Great Forest, another area. A figure was rapidly weaving through the dense forest. Towering ancient trees and thorny vines were like nothing to him. With a light tap of his toes, he would leap dozens of yards. It was the Clear Sky sect master, Tang Xiao. Tang Xiao had seen the battle in the light curtain clearly. When that blue-gold halo lit up, his heart ached as if struck by a heavy hammer. He knew that was Yin's spirit bone. He also harbored deep feelings for Yin. The tragedy of that year had always been a hidden pain in his heart. Now, the spirit bone Yin left behind had actually fallen into Qin Feng's hands and was even being used to recover spirit power and enhance his strength. This was simply the greatest desecration of Tang Hao and Yin. That damned bastard. He should be in this forest. I must find him as soon as possible. Tang Xiao had only one thought. Kill Qin Feng and take back Yin's spirit bone. His perception was fully open, and his vast mental force as a level 96 titled Duluo swept over every inch of ground along the way like Mercury, searching for any trace of residual thunder power. Tilde 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 tilde. Half an hour quietly passed. Qin Feng slowly opened his eyes. The sharp light in his eyes was restrained, and his aura was harmonious and full. The recovery ability of the Blue-Silver Emperor right leg bone, combined with the replenishment from the devoured thunder power, had allowed him to return to his peak state in a short time. Qin Feng did not stand up. Because within his body, a vast thunder power was currently surging. Having devoured the thunder power of Yu Luomian and the other 7, it was time to condense his fourth spirit ring. Qin Feng closed his eyes again. He was going to condense the fourth spirit ring. Invisible ripples spread out with Qin Feng as the center. Fine purple-gold electrical arcs began to emerge around him. These arcs grew more numerous and dense, gradually circling and intertwining above his head. A blurry circular outline began to slowly take shape. At first, it was just a faint phantom. As time passed and more thunder power was injected, the outline gradually solidified, and the color changed from light to dark. This time, unlike the previous 3 pure black spirit rings. Within the black of this gradually forming fourth spirit ring, a trace of heart-palpitating dark red faintly emerged. That dark red luster was not dazzling, yet it caused the pressure emitted by the entire spirit ring to suddenly rise several levels. Chapter 48. Qian Daliu, give it to BB Dong. Chapter 48. Qian Daliu, give it to BB Dong. In the Stardow Great Forest, atop the scorched ruins. That spirit ring finally fully formed, appearing dark red. The fourth ring, nearly 100,000 years. The instant the spirit ring settled, a majestic and vast aura erupted, and the resulting airwave kicked up the scorched dust once more, turning into a circular shockwave that rippled out. Across the entire Duluo continent, the billions of living beings watching this scene through the light screen fell into a brief state of breathlessness. In Spirit City, before the Supreme Pontiff Palace. The scepter in BB Dong's hand paused slightly. On her elegant and calm, beautiful face, a look of shock that was hard to conceal emerged. Her purple eyes stared fixedly at the dark red spirit ring in the light screen and the silver-haired youth whose aura was steadily rising. The fourth ring, nearly 100,000 years. BB Dong's red lips parted slightly, her voice so low it was barely audible, carrying a trace of trembling that even she hadn't noticed. Devouring another's lightning power, turning it to his own use, and condensing a spirit ring, this is even more terrifying than the devouring ability of my soul-eating spider emperor. Bibi Dong had relied on devouring Qian Zunji's physical body and soul for her strength to skyrocket, quickly reaching the rank 99 Super Duluo level. After witnessing Qin Feng's devouring ability with her own eyes, she was completely stunned. One must know that before this, Qin Feng only possessed 3 spirit rings. Now, this 4th spirit ring was actually close to 100,000 years. By devouring lightning power and converting it into his own spirit power, Qin Feng's conversion efficiency was extremely high. In this regard, even she, Bibi Dong, felt inferior. Qin Feng's growth speed far exceeded her imagination. If this continued, his next spirit ring would very likely reach the 100,000-year level. With the strength of 3 rings, he could already contend with experts at the titled Duluo level. If he truly condensed a 100,000-year spirit ring, he would likely be in existence invincible in this world. This was truly too terrifying. At that time, not just Spirit Hall, but the entire Spirit Master's world would face immense pressure. After all, he was a spirit beast in human form, not a true human. Could it be that I really have to take action personally? Bibi Dong's desire to eliminate Qin Feng grew stronger and stronger. On the other side, the enshrinement hall. The 7 high priests, led by Qian Daoliu, all watched the light screen in the sky silently, the atmosphere heavy. This boy's actions are too sinister. Devouring, plundering, if this continues, he will surely become a great disaster. Indeed, he's too bizarre. His 4th spirit ring is already close to 100,000 years, what will happen once he enters his maturity stage? The several priests looked at each other, their faces showing looks of worry. They had been cultivating diligently within the enshrinement hall, long since ignoring worldly affairs, but Qin Feng's appearance and actions made it hard for them to sit idly by. Qian Daoliu's neat hair moved without wind, and a divine light shone in his golden eyes, as if he wanted to pierce through the light screen to see the essence of Qin Feng's power. After a long time, he finally spoke slowly. Devouring lightning to strengthen himself, this thunderclap Hellvine is even more frightening than we imagined. Bibi Dong has already sent people to find him. If necessary, she might take action personally. Let us wait and see for now. Qian Daoliu knew that Bibi Dong had already taken action after Qin Feng first appeared on the light screen and his identity as a spirit beast in human form was exposed. This was a walking 100,000-year spirit ring and spirit bone, naturally, she wouldn't miss it. Qian Daoliu did not want to compete with Bibi Dong for this opportunity. Only as a last resort would he take action. Blue Lightning Tyrant Dragon Clan. Yu Yuanjun stared fixedly at that dark red spirit ring, his chest heaving violently as if it would explode in the next second. The lightning fluctuations flowing on that spirit ring, which caused him heart-wrenching pain, originated precisely from his younger brother Yu Luomian and the 7 tragically killed clansmen. Qin Feng. Yu Yuanjun's roar carried a blood-weeping hatred. You used the blood of my clansmen to forge your spirit ring. This enmity is irreconcilable. The faces of several elders were ashen. Besides hatred, their eyes held a chill that reached deep into their bones. Facing a monster that could devour and absorb lightning power as nourishment, any lightning attribute spirit master was like a lamb to the slaughter before him. The clan's glory of the world's #1 beast spirit appeared so pale and powerless in the face of the other's bizarre restraining ability. If Qin Feng truly descended upon 9 Dragon Mountain, they didn't dare imagine what the consequences would be. Unwillingness, anger, fear. All sorts of emotions were like venomous snakes, gnawing at the hearts of every blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit master in the hall. Mountain forest. Tang Hao's blood-red eyes almost seemed to drip blood. He looked at that dark red spirit ring, his teeth clenching until they creaked. Do you see it, little San? This is what's terrifying about him. When I fought him, I felt the lightning power attached to the clear sky hammer rapidly draining, he was devouring my power even then. That's why he condensed his 3rd spirit ring after fighting me. Tang San's face was pale, and a stormy sea of shock rose in his heart. In his past life as a Tang sect disciple, he had seen all kinds of strange techniques and methods, but he had never heard of anything as overbearing, direct, and efficient as Qin Feng's plundering of another's power source for his own use. This completely violated the common sense of a spirit master's cultivation. An unprecedented sense of urgency and crisis almost submerged him. His external spirit bone, the 8 spider lances, also had a devouring ability, but compared to Qin Feng's devouring ability, it was like a drop in the bucket. How he wished he could obtain some sort of opportunity to strengthen the 8 spider lance's devouring ability and become stronger quickly by devouring similar sources of power, just like Qin Feng. But, in the end, this was just an unrealistic dream. Core area of the Stardo Great Forest. N.A.N. and several great beasts had witnessed the entire process of Qin Feng killing the 8 blue lightning tyrant dragon spirit masters and condensing his 4th spirit ring. A look of shock that was hard to conceal appeared in all of their eyes. Shang Jun snorted coldly. By G, your previous worries were unnecessary. That kid can grow stronger by devouring similar lightning power. With this growth speed, he might catch up to us soon. Bai Ji nodded slightly. After this battle, those human spirit masters who covet the spirit rings and spirit bones on him will likely have some reservations. The human spirit masters who flooded into the forest frantically during this period will also recede like the tide. Kai Wang took over the conversation. Of course, who would want to offend such a monster? That kid being an enemy of humans can be considered a contribution to the spirit beast forest. Wan Yao Wang suddenly said. Whether that Qin Feng is friend or foe is still hard to say. Since he can devour the lightning power of spirit masters, won't he devour the source power of lightning attribute spirit beasts? Wan Yao Wang had 500,000 years of cultivation and was the top existence among plant-type spirit beasts. As fellow kings among plant-type spirit beasts, Qin Feng's growth speed was truly too fast, making Wan Yao Wang feel threatened. If Qin Feng continued to grow like this, perhaps it wouldn't be long before he could replace it and stand at the very top of plant-type spirit beasts. N.A.N. was silent for a moment, light flowing in his golden dragon pupils. Observe for now. Although his growth speed is fast, it is not yet enough to become a threat. If his actions threaten the balance between the forest spirit beasts, we will make a decision then. Chapter 49, The Clear Sky Sect is also at its end. In the light screen. After condensing the 4th spirit ring, Qin Feng did not stand up. He carefully felt the changes within himself. His spirit power level, due to devouring and refining the majestic thunder power of Yu Luomian and the other 7, jumped to level 47. He obtained the 4th spirit ability, 5 Thunders Strike the Top. This spirit ability has 2 levels of effects. One is 5 elements rotation, breaking all methods. The thunder power of the 5 elements, gold, wood, water, fire, and earth, can form a restraint against the spirit power of all 5 elements. The other is 5 elements is 1, annihilation to the void. The 5 elements thunder merge into 1, forming an annihilation explosion within a range, possessing great power. This spirit ability, nearing 100,000 years, made Qin Feng's attack power even more destructive. Qin Feng retracted his spirit ring, and the purple gold thunder light around him, which had just subsided, lit up again. But this time, the nature of the light changed. Red, yellow, green, gold, and blue, 5-colored thunder light burst out from his body almost simultaneously. This 5-colored thunder light was not violent, instead, it carried a reserved and mysterious rhythm, like 5 nimble ribbons circling Qin Feng's body, flowing slowly.